There's a look at the shot track side from beautiful Woodbine Mohawk Park in Campbellville, Ontario. And what a difference 24 hours does make. Yesterday, a cool and wet morning, playing on an off track. That is not the case today. Exact opposite, in fact. It's sunny, warm. The temperature will continue to rise throughout the morning. We'll be playing on a fast oval for another day of baby race action here in Campbellville. And we are happy to have it for you live here on COSA-TV. Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to the track. Greg Blanchard and Mark McKelvey. We are glad to have you joining us once again this morning. We've got a busy one. The Colts and Geldings take center stage today. The rookies will be out en masse.
Hello,
14
Jim.
races
I'll show you in a second.
in total today. Mark McKelvey will be calling the action from upstairs. I'll be down here trackside, and we'll bring you the coverage throughout the day. And
No.
all right, looks like Mark's ready, but I'm not sure if he's hearing us or not. Mark, give us a nod if you're hearing me okay. All right, we'll bring him in. Let's get that rectified. We'll bring him in shortly. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to have you back joining us today, wherever you are tuning in from across North America. Wonderful to have you on board for what is going to be a very busy morning. It should be an entertaining one as well. We're going to see a mix of some horses coming back, ones that we saw a week ago competing, and they'll be back out for their second effort today, and some new faces, some intriguing new faces as well. Before we look at today, though, let's take you back to some of the highlights from Friday morning, from yesterday here. So despite the inclement weather and the elements that we were dealing with, there were some really impressive performances. Trainer Blake McIntosh sent out a number of starters again and had another productive morning, sending out 3 winners during the 12 races. On the pacing side, the fastest and I think by most accounts the most impressive effort of the morning was from a filly named I Love On Gate. The Sunshine Beach filly coming back for a second consecutive qualifier and a second consecutive victory. She stopped the clock in 1:56 and 4. Again, that was the quickest trip of the morning session over the off-going. And on the trotting side, it was Global News turning some heads. Son of Archangel was the fastest of the trotters with his 1:59 and 3 effort, and another who looked very good doing it for the combination of trainer Blake McIntosh and driver Jody Jamieson, and one of 2 winning credits during the morning from trotting stallion Archangel. So that was yesterday on the trotting side. Today we look ahead to the Pacers, and it's going to be an intriguing morning. Again, we've got the ideal weather conditions, so I think we'll see some speed. No doubt somebody will jump up and turn some heads during what is going to be a very busy morning, as we have alluded to. So let's give you some horses to watch this morning, ones that that we're keeping an eye on based on the connections, based on the pedigree potential that they bring. And, you know, we've got some high-priced yearlings that will be in action this morning as well. Over in race 4, one that we're interested in watching for the first time in at Rodantha, a $65,000 Lexington Fall purchase. This one a full brother to Metz Hall, a $1.3 million winning trotter who was the runner-up, of course, in 2018 in the Hambletonian to the Great Atlanta. Over in race 5, Drinks at Home debuts this morning. $47,000 purchase last fall from Harrisburg. This one a half-brother to the Ontario standout Macho Martini, and will be going out for the same connections. Conditioner Luke Blay. Macho Martini has returned with a couple of qualifying efforts, yet to return to pari-mutuel action, but it will be just a matter of time for him. He's got, of course, Hambletonian aspirations this year for that team. And over in race 11, Blay has another one that should get some attention here. Tall and Tan Blue Chip, a 6-figure yearling. The Grand Dam, the second dam, is a Great Memories, a tremendous producer. There's just 3 of the world champions she has produced. Warrawee Butte, just shy of $2 million. Warrawee Needy and Warrawee Vital, and some of the fastest horses in the history of the sport as well. Warrawee Needy, a sub 147 winner, of course, and standing stallion here in Ontario. So just 3 of the horses that we're interested in watching. Of course, we'll have eyes on all 14 races and a lot of intriguing individuals. And again, we're going to see many horses coming back into action today that we saw competing here a week ago. So it's a lot of fun to watch and see if they can duplicate their efforts. Mark McKelvey, I think we've got you back on the line. Just a quick thought on what you're looking forward to today. Better weather obviously should make for some quick miles, I would think.
Certainly should, and just happy to be back up here this morning and looking at sunny skies instead of that rain like you mentioned. But we're going to go off of what we saw last week, and there's a few that really caught my eye that I'm looking forward to seeing. You've touched on a few of the horses we'll be keeping an eye on this morning, but I'm looking forward to seeing later on in today's action a Dr. Ian Moore trainee by the name of I'm King Khan, who I thought really impressed last week in the very first qualifier. So I thought that one for co-owner and driver Dale Spence turned some heads, and I'll like to see what he follows up with here today.
All right, well, the trotters for the first of 14 are now hitting the racetrack, and there is the field of 9 scheduled to go postward. And in this race, you're going to see ones that have some tremendous pedigree on their side as well. Number 4, Luca Hanover, immediately comes to mind in here. A son of Resolve, co-owned by Francis Dumichel, who also does the training, $45,000 yearling purchase. A sibling to a trio of $250,000 winners, and among them, Looking Hanover, who has banked $1.2 million during his career. Luca Hanover, again, occupying post number 4 this morning. The next door neighbor's Master Production, and this one a full brother to 2016 Super Final winner, Mass Production, who took a fast career race record of 151-4. And banking a little over $380,000. Master Production looking pretty good coming out onto the track as well. And we have them just assembling into the backstretch here, so we'll get them going postward momentarily. Mark McKelvey, to use the hockey analogy, we're going to see some horses coming back here this week who maybe didn't perform up to what their expectations were a week ago, but as we saw yesterday, they can bounce back quickly at this age. And, we'll use the hockey analogy. How about those Montreal Canadiens? A good example. It didn't start well for them in the playoffs. They changed the game plan, kept working on it, and now things are going in the right direction. And we'll see that today, I'm sure, with some of these youngsters.
Yeah, I wonder if you can maybe bring that over to racing and try and find where sometimes a victory is just handed to you, or at least an opportunity, not putting all eyes on Marc-Andre Fleury. That was a little bit of a blunder last night. But nonetheless, if you're a Canadiens fan, they found a way to get it done. And sometimes it's all about just persevering. And that's a good point that you bring up as we get set to start with today's action, that some of those that maybe didn't turn our head last week and maybe had some struggles, well, they've had another week. They're going to mature with each and every week that goes by here this summer. And for some maybe that made miscues, I'm sure for the trainers it could have been pretty frustrating. But another thing to keep in mind is, I've talked to a few trainers in the past that right after a baby race, you might think they'd be very disappointed because their horse made a break or some other type of mistake, but they know right away exactly what it was. They know they can fix it, and we'll see if some of those horses rebound nicely here today.
Yeah, and a good example was a filly in the final race yesterday. She made a miscue last weekend in her first start, finishing last. Yesterday went right to the front in the finale and wired the field in 158 over and off track for trainer Blake McIntosh. So, that definitely can be the case, and that's why you want to watch them, 2 or 3 times certainly. And they can improve rapidly, certainly at this stage. And it's all new to these youngsters as well for a lot of them. Some have been able to get over here and get used to the surroundings. It's certainly different in the morning here than it is at nighttime when it comes to shadows and things like that they have to deal with. And it's really about getting that overall experience this morning. And it is invaluable. And some of them are a little more seasoned than others when they get to this stage. So we're going to get our look at our first group of the morning, a busy one, 14 races in total. Race number 1 has the starting gate rolling back up to Mark with the race call.
time to meet the field for the opener. 2-year-old colts and geldings on the trot. One is Mr. Fritter, a muscle mass colt, trained by Bill Budd. Trevor Henry drives for owners Dean Marson's stable, Peter Miscolzi, and John Frieda. $12,000 Harrisburg purchase. 2 is Magical Major, a gelded son of Father Patrick, owned by Gary Lance, Trevor Lance, Brian Samus. Paul Reed trains, Chris Christopher drives, $19,000 Harrisburg buy. 3 is Keiko Pepe, a gelded son of Muscle Mass, owned by Steve Heimbecker, Alan Albert, Michael Guerrero, and Maneri Racing Incorporated. Dave Maneri trains, Jody Jameson drives, $20,000 Lexington purchase. 4, Luca Hanover, James McDonald for Francis Dumichel. Resolve colts owned by Dumichel, Acurie CSL, and OAS 2021, along with a numbered Quebec Incorporation. $45,000 Harrisburg buy. 5 is Master Production, Eddie Green for Keelan Green, Celestia Hill owns, $45,000 Lexington buy is that Muscle Mass colt. 6, Southwind Domino, a Walner, Gino Toscani owns and drives, $28,000 Lexington buy. The trainer is Herb Holland. And then next up is number 8, Radio Lab, gelded son of Craze, Ed Hensley for Ashley Hensley. They own $18,000 yearling purchase. And they're off and trotting here in the opener. And from the outside, Radio Lab, a little steppy, but coming away with speed. Out in the center, that is Master Production. And then it is Southwind Domino. Towards the inside, Keiko Pepe gets away in 4th. 5th is Luca Hanover. Back to Mr. Fritter, and the early trailer is Magical Major. They go into the first turn and look at Radio Lab. This one just went on, and now is going to make a break. Might have jumped that shadow. So as they come to the opening quarter, it's on the board in 29 seconds flat. So resetting will be Radio Lab, and Radio Lab is going to go right back to the front here. So we'll see how this one goes for the gelded son of Crazed. Ed Hensley in for a little bit of an adventure here. And off stride once again went Radio Lab. So inheriting the lead will be Master Production. Then we go back to Southwind Domino, who is followed by Keiko Pepe. Up the backside they go. And then racing is Luca Hanover, followed by Mr. Fritter and Magical Major, and then at the back is Radio Lab now after a couple of breaks. The half was up on the board in 101 and 1, and our leader into the far turn is Master Production, leading it by a pair. Southwind Domino in 2nd, 3rd is Keiko Pepe, 4th is Luca Hanover, continuing to trot, and 5th is Mr. Fritter, who is tracked by Magical Major. Now out from 3rd comes Keiko Pepe, and Keiko Pepe, who was a winner a week ago, is on the march on the outside and looking to confront the leader, Master Production, who hit 3/4 in 132 and 1. They're into the stretch, and Keiko Pepe now takes the top spot. Back in 2nd, Master Production. Southwind Domino was following 3rd. Luca Hanover tries to split between rivals, and then diving to the inside of a rival there for Henry is Mr. Fritter. Drifting out is Keiko Pepe, and Keiko Pepe is going to finish this one out in about the 7 path and might get picked off up the inside by Mr. Fritter. Here's Mr. Fritter up the inside. Might have got it. Very tight. Keiko Pepe on the far outside, and Mr. Fritter will have to go to the photo finish camera. Time of the mile, 2:02 and 1.
An interesting finish in the first contest of the morning. It looks like Mr. Fritter snuck up the inside to get it done here. Perhaps we'll get a better angle of it on the slow-mo. Here they are coming to the end. It is Mr. Fritter on the inside, Trevor Henry in tow. Way out in the 7 path, Keiko Pepe, who was on the lead and drifted well wide in the home stretch. Kept trotting forward, but I think lost enough ground there in drifting that it cost that one the qualifying victory. So whether it's greenness or something else causing that, but I'm sure the connections will go back to the drawing board and try and get that rectified prior to the pari-mutuel debut for Keiko Pepe now, a win and a runner-up finish. Mr. Fritter debuting today, just a $12,000 yearling purchase, son of Muscle Mass. And the fact that that one was able to handle so professionally and win this morning in 2:02 and a 5th bodes well for when we see this one hit the racetrack. And again, the Ontario Sire Stakes not too far down the road. We'll get a look at the schedule a little bit later on today, but they'll be kicking off on Canada Day weekend here in the province, and And there'll be a host of events here at Woodbine Mohawk Park that opening weekend, and some grassroots action down the highway at Hiawatha Horse Park in Sarnia as well. We're going to switch gears in race number 2 in a moment. More trotters will be going to the post. There's a quick look at the field of 9 and how they are going to line up in that contest. Again, you're watching live coverage today here on COSA-TV. It's wonderful to have you on board. Let us know where you're tuning in from today. We always are interested to hear where our viewers are joining us from all over North America yesterday, and we think that'll be the case again here this morning. It is a beautiful one at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Again, if you were just joining us, in contrast to yesterday, we are under sunny skies, a much warmer day, and a fast track to start out the morning, and it should just get better here as the day goes on. Race number 2, again, a field of trotters, full field of 9 there. The number 2 in the field, C-Can, is a muscle mass gelding, so we'll be looking to give that stallion a second winning credit to start the morning, and this one a full brother to the $300,000 winner, Cruising in Style. We're going to look at them coming out to the track in a moment, and right now we'll head back up to Mark and see if he is ready with that first race rundown.
Yes, Greg, we've got it now, and it was Mr. Fritter up the inside that takes it in 2:02 and 1. It's a margin of victory of a neck. So, as you mentioned, Keiko Pepe drifting out really cost him there. 142.563, scratch 7, scratch is your order of finish as we go top to bottom. 2:02 and 1 for that winner, Mr. Fritter. Bill Budd trains, and recently Bill Budd announced that a horse that has had so much success for him, one that will hold a special place with him all time. That's Nirvana Sealster, has been retired, a millionaire. Sad to see him go, but what a warrior he was out on the racetrack. And now Bill Budd, here today at least, turning his attention to a youngster with a 2-year-old colt by muscle mass named Mr. Fritter.
Yeah, and that's always sad to see a hard hitter like that, excuse me, retire from the racetrack, but he has earned his retirement, no question about that. And, you know, one of many top horses Billy Budd has had over the course of his career. Excuse me, you think back to greats like Boulder Creek and Sir Luck come to mind. He had that 1-2 combination a few years back, and Nirvana Sealster in recent years, and maybe a good-looking youngster in his hands here on the trotting side. Again, the trotters for the second are making their way to the track. The number 3 in the field, Bar Brawl, is another son of Muscle Mass. Muscle Mass well represented all over today's race program, leading trotting stallion in Canada last season. You know that we'll hear from his offspring again this year. Bar Brawl, again from Muscle Mass. This one had a $200,000 sibling, Mark, who did not make it to the races last year. This guy, $72,000 yearling by. And I guess the good news is that here he is, at least to this point in qualifying, looked pretty good last week and doing the road work and finishing second.
Yeah, he hung in there, really. I mean, finished second, got beat 3 lengths, but came home in 29 and 1, and doing the heavy lifting. Some of these horses can maybe get a little lost up front, but pretty nice effort, I'd say, for Bar Brawl, and one that I know the connections will want to build off of. $72,000 purchase, as you mentioned, and Dam, sister to the great Casual Breeze. So Bar Brawl, certainly Gino Toscani, who is going to have a lot of people keeping his eyes on him this year because he has purchased 2 slots in the Mohawk Million. So whether he uses both of those, he decides to make a deal, it'll be something to really watch as the summer progresses.
Yeah, and it's great to see that event back this year, Mark. It really created a lot of buzz last year, and under the strangest of conditions, obviously, right in the middle of the pandemic. This year, we're certainly hopeful the way things are going that we'll be able to welcome some fans out to the racetrack at that point in time, because I think it's one of those events that having people on site, it'll be that much more exciting. But the format itself, really unique, really interesting, and it created, I think, the kind of excitement that we were hoping for. It was a pleasure to cover that race and the lead up to it, and we look forward to doing that again this year. A bit of a rarity here, Mark. Couple of chestnut trotters in the field will go head-to-head here. Red Overbach, the number 4, Son of Royalty for Life, and the number 9, Quick Fix, the Son of Resolve, and that one a half-brother to Raising Royalty, a horse that's a familiar face in these parts.
Absolutely, and that's something I noticed there last week, which was kind of interesting. You don't see too many chestnuts, and then to see them last week line up side by side, it was. And it's the resolves, I guess, that's where this is coming from, the chestnuts. So that'll be fun to watch, especially if we can find a few that do have success. They will always catch a lot of attention.
Yeah, and there have been some good ones. Certainly some good chestnut racehorses. On the Road again comes to mind on the pacing side for sure. Northern Bailey was a good one here in Ontario. Made I think close to $1 million for John Bax and connections back at that time. So we'll see what we're looking at here with these two, and a really nice group overall in this spot. The number 8's American Blizz K from the veteran stallion Angus Hall, who's been a stalwart certainly in the Ontario program. This one is a half to revenue agent, $439,000 career winner. Another bulky field of 9 getting set to go, and it looks like the gate's moving into position. So once again, we'll head up to Mark McKelvey with the play-by-play.
Here we go for the second qualifier. No changes here. Field of 9. Note that numbers 1, 8, or I should say 1, 7, and 8 will all wear trotting hobbles. 1 is Kilimanjaro, a prestidigitator colt. Blooming Wood Farms Limited. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair will drive. 2 is Seacan, a gelded son of Muscle Mass. Kilimanjaro, prestidigitator colt. Blooming Wood Farms Limited, the owner breeders. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair drives. 2 is Seacan, a gelded son of Muscle Mass. Mark Etzel, Terry DeVos, Peter Porter are your owners. Mark Etzel trains and drives. 3 is Bar Brawl, a Muscle Mass colt. Gino Toscani owns and drives. $72,000 Lexington buy, trained by Herb Holland. 4, Red Overbach is a gelded son of Royalty for Life. Carl Jameson, Tom Chiron, Dr. Robert Boyce are the owners. Carl Jameson trains. Jody Jameson will drive. 5 is St. Eves, an Archangel colt owned by Yolanda Fellows, Blair Corbeil, and Trojan Horse. Rob Fellows trains. Trevor Henry will drive. $12,000 Harrisburg purchase. 5 Star Power Hanover, a wheeling and dealing colt. Determination owns. Luke Blade trains. Bob McClure drives. $57,000 Harrisburg buy. 7 Crosstown Rivalry. Dennis Hanneth is the owner. David Holliday trains. Ryan Holliday will drive. Creatine colt. American Buzz K, the 8. Angus Hall colt. Winning Key is the owner. Paul Reed trains. Scott Young drives. And 9 is Quick Fix, a Resolve colt owned by John Copus Stables, Clay Horner, and Drybar Stables. Copus trains. Chris Christopher drives. $15,000 Ontario purchase. And they're off and trotting here in the second. Green beginning for the rail starter Kilimanjaro. Coming away the quickest, this is Bar Brawl, and this one storms out of there for Toscani. It is Bar Brawl out to the lead. Getting away in second is Star Power Hanover. Third is Red Overbach into the first turn, and Seacan got away in fourth. That one will be tracked by St. Eves in fifth. Around the first bend they go. 6 is Crosstown Rivalry, followed then 7th by Quick Fix. 8th is American Buzz K, and Kilimanjaro is the trailer. 29-1 for the opening quarter, as off to a hot start there was Bar Brawl. And Bar Brawl, who went to the front last week, does the exact same thing here this morning and leads this one by almost a half dozen lengths. Racing in second up the backside is Star Power Hanover. Third is Red Overbach. Then in fourth is Seacan. Fifth is St. Eves, who is followed closely by Crosstown Rivalry. Then we got a bit of a break going back to our final 3, that being Quick Fix, who is followed by American Blizz K and Kilimanjaro. The half was hit in a minute even. That's 30-4 in the second quarter, and on to the far turn they go. And Bar Brawl is hoping that he has got an advantage that will not shrink here, and that he'll just leave everybody far behind. He continues to lead by a half dozen lengths. Star Power Hanover, the wheeling and dealing colt, he is racing in second, being followed there third by Red Overbach. Now to the outside, here comes Seacan from fourth. 3/4 time, 1:30 even. Off the turn and into the stretch, and it is all Bar Brawl. He's had the big advantage since the word go, and we'll see if anyone can reel him in. Bar Brawl coming to the 8th pole. Seacan's now moved into 2nd. 3rd is Star Power Hanover. Red Overbach to the outside trying to come on by a couple of rivals. We had a breaker in the stretch. Off stride went Quick Fix. Coming to the edge of the tote board. Bar Brawl with that lead, and they are not going to get to him. Bar Brawl will take it going coast to coast. Red Overbach was 2nd. 3rd went to Star Power Hanover, and 4th was Seacan. 2 minutes and 2/5 for Bar Brawl.
So Ontario's leading trotting stallion, Muscle Mass, going 2 for 2 so far this morning in baby race action. Bar Brawl, who went to the front last week and finished 2nd in a similar time, today goes to the front and is able to hold on. Pretty even fractions throughout, half in a minute, back half in a minute and 2/5, so he stops the clock in 2 minutes and 2/5 in this spot. Bar Brawl, a winner in his 2nd trip behind the starting gate. And one thing that he shows already is that quick speed off the gate. So he's well gated. He's got good tactical speed. Looks like he can carry it a long way. So Bar Brawl should be ready to take part in pari-mutuel action, and it'll be fun to watch this guy this season and when his first start does come up. Red Overbach, the flashy-looking chestnut, son of royalty for life, he closed stoutly in the final stages. So there's an example of what we were talking about earlier, one that came here last week. Things didn't go well. He made a miscue at the start. Today, minds his manners, and he looked really good at the end of the mile. Big, strong-looking colt as well, and he's up for 2nd. This guy has some pedigree. The mare Dixieland Jazz has been a good producer. She has produced 5 winners of $100,000 plus so far in her career. Star Power Hanover, the wheeling and dealing colt, he ends up 3rd. It was up close to the pace throughout for his connections. Trainer Luke Blay, driver Bob McClure. 4th last week, and does one better in finishing 3rd this time. Another one with lots of pedigree potential. And you know, the Blay McClure combination, when it comes to qualifying races, they never tend to worry much about speed. They've got bigger plans down the road, so they just want to make sure they're doing it the right way and have them ready to go when they do hit the racetrack. Bar Brawl giving Muscle Mass his 2nd consecutive winning stallion credit early on this busy 14 race extravaganza here this morning at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Again, a big hello to everybody tuning in today. You know, our analogy talking about the Montreal Canadiens, of course, always going to draw some mixed reviews. Shouldn't be construed to mean that I am a Montreal Canadiens fan. Far from the truth, but hey, you have to respect the run they are on and the character in their locker room. So it'll be fun to watch that series progress. Fun time of year, yeah, deep into the NHL playoffs, and of course the racing season, the stake season, really just getting underway, and all these new faces emerging, and that is always one of the most exciting parts of these rookie qualifying days, and today is no exception. There is a look at the field for the upcoming 3rd. We continue on the trot, so many of the trot races are on the front half of today's card for the colts and geldings of the 2-year-old variety, and we'll have a field of 8 to face the starting gate in this upcoming contest. We'll get a look at them making their way out to the track. There is yet another son of Muscle Mass. His name is Marauder Sealster, with Louis-Philippe Bois in the driver's seat here. Amanda Fine trains, a $55,000 yearling purchase from last fall's London selected sale. Steve Heinbecker of Waterloo is the owner. Steve, massive investment last season into 2-year-olds, and we've seen a lot of them over this first 2 weeks of qualifying, and we wish him luck this upcoming season. So we'll have a look at them making their way out from the paddock location. Alex with a wonderful job getting an up-close look at these horses as they come out to the track, and it's always fun to really get a good look at these youngsters for the first time, and Alex will help us do that all morning long. In the meantime, let's go back up to Mark. Mark, have you got that rundown from race 2?
Yes, it did, Greg. And just before I give that rundown, I'd like to piggyback on what you said. Certainly not saying I'm a Habs fan as well. All right, here is that rundown from the second qualifier. 7-4-1, 2-6, 3-5, 8-9. The winner was Barbrawl, goes coast to coast. Led it by 6 lengths right through that middle half and ends up crossing the wire 2.5 lengths in front of Red Overbach. And as you pointed out, that one finishing up very nicely. Trotted a final quarter in 29 seconds even. The winner came home 30 2/5. So Red Overbach, a good-looking performance, but Barbrawl has been on the front 2 weeks in a row here, and again, last week he ends up handing it over in the lane, but here today, just a insurmountable margin that wasn't going to be made up there. So Barbrawl takes it in our second, and I noted that there was 3 of them that threw the trotting hobbles on, so we'll keep our eye and try and pass those along when we do have those trots.
Okay, there again the field for the upcoming third, continuing with trotters this time around. The number 3 in the field is the Champ. It's going to be Ryan Holiday teaming up with Father Dave, who does the training, and Ryan's wife Caroline, the owner. So a true family affair. Caroline bred the horse as well, son of Archangel, who had a couple of winners here yesterday. And it looks like he'll be a force this season. And the Holidays certainly no strangers to success when it comes to trotters. One that they campaigned here just a few years back by the name of Platoon Seal Steer was a very good one, and sits with almost $500,000 in career earnings. And yeah, they're known for their prowess with trotters specifically, but always seem to have quality horses. So the Champ, one of the last ones out to the racetrack here in the third. DeChambeau, I like the name on the number 6. Mark, you're a big golfer. And from what I hear, you're kind of in the ballpark of DeChambeau when it comes to hitting off the tee. Is that true?
I don't know where you heard that. I mean, if you want to talk about it looking just absolutely wild, maybe that's the only comparison that you can make, but I'm certainly not getting that that distance. I don't really have the mechanics behind it. I'm just trying to get my game, out there, punch it out, and we'll see how we can do. But not a bad name, is it?
Yeah, exactly. You're like me. You're just trying to keep it in the fairway. That's the first and foremost. But even when I do that, it doesn't seem to work out well. You just keep working at it. All right, gate rolling for the third. More trotters in action here. And once again, Mark with the call.
Auto. Bob McClure will drive number 6, DeChambeau. So we start with number 2, Barroom Brawl Boys, a muscle mass colt Gino Toscani owns and drives for trainer Herb Holland, $20,000 Lexington purchase. 3, the Champ, Archangel colt owned by Caroline Holiday, who is the breeder. Dave Holiday trains, Ryan Holiday will drive. 4, Feel the Force, a gelded son of Resolve, Steve Heimbecker, Van Camp Trotting Corp, and Blake McIntosh are the owners. McIntosh trains, James McDonald drives, $22,000 Lexington purchase. 5, Marauder Sealster is a muscle mass colt owned by Heimbecker, trained by Amanda Fine. Louis Waugh drives, $55,000 London purchase. 6 is DeChambeau, a Cadabra gelding. Gary Lance, Paul Reed, BC Reichheld Stables, and Tony Kasha are the owners. Paul Reed trains. Bob McClure will do the driving. $30,000 Harrisburg purchase. 7 is Archery Sealster, a wheelin' and dealin' colt owned by Justin Mastel and Marcel Barrio. Barrio the trainer. He'll also do the driving. $85,000 London purchase. And on the outside is number 8, Living on the Rail. This is a muscle mass colt owned by Heimbecker, Paul Kelly, Aaron Byron. Aaron Byron trains and drives, a $30,000 Harrisburg purchase. So scratch the 1. McClure drives to the 6, DeChambeau. Everybody slides down a spot on the starting gate, which now reaches the top of the stretch. Here we go for the third baby race. And they're off and trotting. Barroom Brawl Boys from the inside and right out to a lead of 6 lengths. Just in the blink of an eye. No other speed as Feel the Force is in second. And then getting away on third was Archery Sealster, who actually moved around into that second spot. So it'll be Feel the Force in third. Racing fourth is Marauder Sealster. Then it is the Champ on the outside, Living on the Rail. And then DeChambeau is your trailer. To the opening quarter they go. And it is Barroom Brawl Boys there in 30-2. So once again, Toscani's on the front, and once again, there's nobody within reach. Well back in second is Archery Sealster. Third is Feel the Force. Racing in fourth is Marauder Sealster. Fifth up the backside, the Champ. Living on the rail, found the rail. Racing in sixth. And then seventh is DeChambeau. So the lead was almost double digits going up the backside here for Barroom Brawl Boys. And this is a one-sided fight so far. 102 and 1 is your half-mile clocking. Onto the far turn they go. Barroom Brawl Boys, the son of Muscle Mass, is the leader. They're getting a little closer now as Archery Sealster for Marcel Barrio is trotting really well there with good-looking strides going by 5/8 and is making up ground on the leader. In third is Feel the Force. Racing fourth is Marauder Sealster. Fifth is, as they go around the turn, Living on the Rail. Followed then by the Champ, and off stride at the back went to DeChambeau just before 3/4. Into the stretch, 1:33 was your 3/4 clocking. And the leader, since the word go, has been Barroom Brawl Boys. We had another breaker as off stride went the Champ after 3/4. Here with less than an eighth of a mile to go, Barroom Brawl Boys is seeing what he's got left for the final round. Coming after him on the outside is Feel the Force, and between horses, Archery Sealster. Barroom Brawl Boys digging in. Feel the Force edging closer at the line. Barroom Brawl Boys got it by a head. Feel the Force was second. Third went to Archery Sealster, 2:03 and 2.
It has been the Muscle Mass and the Gino Toscani show so far here this morning. Muscle Mass going 3 for 3 on the trotting side to kick off today's baby race session. And Gino Toscani and trainer Herb Holland come right back. Last time with Bar Brawl, this time with Barroom Brawl Boys. So we got a bit of a theme here. And another one who showed that quick speed off the gate, grabbed control of the racetrack and is able to hold on in this long 1,100-foot long stretch here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Closing in was Feel the Force, just missed by about a head, and Archery Sealster, the wheeling and dealing colt, was right there in between trotters and finishing third. So a good 3 across finish there in qualifier number 3, but Muscle Mass serving notice that he will be very prominent once again here in the Ontario program for 2021. In race 4, we're going to be back at it with trotters, and they'll be making their way out to the track here in a moment. We'll get back upstairs to get that rundown from Mark here in a second as well. Again, if you are just joining us today, it is a beautiful morning in Campbellville. No wind, temperature is warm but quite comfortable, and we are playing on a fast oval this morning, so really the polar opposite of what we saw here yesterday. Polar might have been the right way to describe it. It was a cold, damp morning here yesterday, and track condition not ideal because of steady rain throughout the day, but a vastly different story here this morning, and so far so good. We're playing under ideal weather conditions. Another group of trotters here in race number 4, and one of the horses that we had in our spotlight right off the top as horses to watch was In at Rodanthe, the number 1. This one a Cantab Hall colt, who is a full brother to Metz Hall, runner-up in the 2018 Hambletonian behind Atlanta, career winner of $1.3 million, and looking to give Herb Holland and Gino Toscani a third consecutive victory this morning. This guy, a $65,000 yearling purchase from last fall's Lexington sale. He did not surface here last week, so today will be the debut in qualifying action for that one. Horses and drivers are heading out to the racetrack, and we'll go back upstairs to Mark for the rundown of race number 3.
Yeah, here is that order of finish from the third qualifier. So once again, it was a Toscani Holland teaming up with a Muscle Mass. Top to bottom, it was scratch 162, 4735. Barroom Brawl Boys in 203 and 2. Final quarter was 30 and 2. Finishing second, beat ahead, was Feel the Force, who made up 4.5 lengths there in the stretch. trotting a good final quarter to get that second spot. But Barroom Brawl Boys takes it, as you mentioned, continuing on the good run for Muscle Mass and the combo of Toscani and Holland.
Roll that they are on this morning here in qualifier number 4. They'll start from post 1 in this spot. The next door neighbor is Ander Solo. This one, the third foal for the Angus Hall mare Fiorentina. Her first foal was a good one, GP Dreamin'. Only 10 starts, but did win 5 of those 10 and flashed a tremendous speed early on of 153-3 record and banked almost 100,000 in those 10 starts. And their solo post 2 here this morning for trainer Keelan Green, and Eddie Green will do the driving. There's a look at 3 Give Me Carrots, an Encore colt, who is a sibling to a trio of $100,000 plus winners. We'll have the services of Scott Young this morning for Paul Reed. And a couple of doors down, Renegade Gypsy is a graduate of the Ontario Select yearling sale, $18,000 purchase for the stable Renegade Gypsy of Guelph, and a son of Archangel. And Mark, I like what I've seen from that stallion here in the last couple of weeks. Several Archangels have been looking good here in qualifying action.
Yeah, they have, and we'll see if that can continue. And again, you know, you look here locally, and that's what you want to see. You want to see some good quality and some talent that's going to hopefully turn some heads and make some noise here this summer. And you talked about Archangel here. You got number 7, I'm a Stand-Up Guy, and here in this 4th qualifier, you know, that's an Archangel that's actually the 12th foal from the mare Sierra Fortune. So they all got to the races. So, I mean, that's production right there.
And Mark, you know what I'm looking forward to as well? We've had the brawling theme here in the last couple of races, and here in the 4th we've got one named Marvin Hagler, the great boxer. So I'm looking forward to more of those puns here in the upcoming 4th as well. Got anything in mind? Anything you're working on?
On the fly here, maybe I'll get something. Let's see.
Awesome.
I'll try and surprise you guys. Baby race. 1 and 7 are out. 2, and they're solo. Cornero de Solo colt, owned by Emily Montour, trained by Keelan Green. Eddie Green drives. 3 is Give Me Carrots. Encore colt, owned by Winning Key, trained by Paul Reed. Scott Young, the driver. 4, Marvin Hagler, a Craze colt, owned by Gerald Pedden and Mark McCory. Mark McCory trains. Sylvain Filion will drive. $13,000 London buy. 5 is Renegade Gypsy and Archangel gelding. The stable Renegade Gypsy owns. Mario Barjon, the trainer driver. $18,000 Ontario purchase. 6, Devereaux Sealster, a Trixton colt owned by the Bob McIntosh stables. Doug McIntosh and Randy Lipa. Bob McIntosh trains. Trevor Henry drives. $28,000 London purchase. And 8, Down the Fence, a Royalty for Life colt owned by Dustin Jones stables, who also bred. Jones will train and drive. Number 8, Down the Fence. So we're scratching the 1 and the 7 here. Brings us down to a field of 6. Trotters to the top of the stretch for baby race number 4. And they're off and trotting, and splitting from the center is Renegade Gypsy on the outside, down the fence, and then getting away towards the inside. Marvin Hagler is going to get away second. We've got Devereaux Sealster in 4th. 5th is Ander Solo, and then it is Give Me Carrots K. Into the first turn they'll go, and it's Renegade Gypsy. Off stride went Marvin Hagler, so taken out of this one in the first round, as Marvin Hagler will go to the outside. It is Renegade Gypsy on top by about 3 lengths coming to the opening quarter, which was trotted in 31-1. Into the backstretch they'll go. And your leader, This is Renegade Gypsy for Mario by Argent, on top by about almost 5 lengths. In second is Down the Fence. Then in third is Devereaux Sealster, followed fourth by Ander Solo. Fifth is Give Me Carrots K. And then it's probably about 8 lengths going back to the trailer Marvin Hagler. They're coming up towards the midway point, and they're following Renegade Gypsy. They're going to come past the half here in 102 and 1. 31 seconds even in that second quarter, which was actually just a tad quicker than that opener of 31 and 1. Renegade Gypsy all by himself here. This gelded son of Archangel is leading it by a half dozen lengths. Down the Fence is in second. Break of 2.5 going back to Devereaux Sealster in third. Fourth is Ander Solo. Fifth is Give Me Carrots K. And then it's about 3 lengths back to Marvin Hagler, who will try and finish this one up strong. They come to 3/4. Renegade Gypsy has been leading all the way. He's made all the calls. 131 and 4 off the turn and into the stretch. That was 29 and 3 in the third quarter. And it's Renegade Gypsy and Mario by Argent. Doesn't look like they're going to be touched here as they come to the 8th pole. The battle will be on for second. It's Down the Fence. Devereaux Sealster to make that push. Then back in third is Anadir Solo, followed by Give Me Carrots K and Marvin Hagler. But it was all Renegade Gypsy since the word go. And Renegade Gypsy in the second qualifier for this Archangel gelding will win it in 2 minutes and 3/5. Devereaux Sealster was second. Down the Fence was third, followed then by Give Me Carrots K, Marvin Hagler, and Anadir Solo.
Another winning credit for trotting stallion Archangel, Renegade Gypsy, gate to wire. Mario by Argent training and driving this one for the stable Renegade Gypsy of Guelph, Ontario. And the gelding last week, he did surface here. Trotted very evenly, got away third, finished third, but was charted in an identical 2 minutes and 3/5 and showed 28 and 3 final quarter speed. So they want to step him up a little bit today, a little more aggressive approach and put on the front end. And he has all sorts of trot in the back half. 58 and 2 clocking to win it going away. Nice big long striding son of Archangel, Renegade Gypsy. Watch for him in the coming weeks. He is victorious. Devereaux Sealster up there for the place spot, a son of Trixton. In rain to Trevor Henry for the Bob McIntosh Stables. And Down the Fence, a homebred for Dustin Jones, son of Royalty for Life, to round out the top 3 there in qualifier number 4. So an eye-catching win for Renegade Gypsy here this morning as we welcome another group of trotters out to the track here for the upcoming 5th race. Again, welcoming you tuning in today. Big thank you again to COSA-TV. And COSA for making this coverage possible this morning, and our friends at Woodbine Entertainment Group as well for accommodating. And it's wonderful to be able to bring you live coverage, enhanced live coverage of these baby races each year. And we hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you, and let us know where you're tuning in from. I've had a chance to quickly scroll through the comments, and it looks like we've got viewers from all over North America tuning in once again this morning on our various platforms. Qualifier 5 just about set to go. They're heading to the track. Another one of the horses we profiled off the top of the show this morning as one to watch is number 5, Drinks at Home. It was about this time last year that a colt named Macho Martini was starting to grab our attention for their connections, ownership, determination of Montreal, Quebec, trainer Luc Blais, driver Bob McClure. That combination has certainly had tremendous success in recent years. Macho Martini had an outstanding rookie campaign. He went 8 for 11 last year and banked close to $500,000. And Drinks at Home is the half brother to that one, a son of Royalty for Life. Quick update on Macho Martini. He's qualified a couple of times this year, most recently winning at Harrah's Filly in 158 and 4 with a 56 and 4 final half. So it looks like he's ready to get back into pari-mutuel action. We'll go back up to Mark McKelvey. Mark, you did us proud. You got the boxing reference in there. Well done.
Yeah, I had to come up with it a little quicker than I was expecting too, so I didn't have a whole lot of time, but that was for Marvin Hagler. Probably disappointing for the connections, but actually, once he got back trotting, didn't look too bad. He ended up finishing 5th. Let's go through that rundown It was scratch 6, 4, 5, 1, 2, scratch 3 was on the bottom. Renegade Gypsy was your winner in 2 minutes and 3/5, taking this one by 12 lengths. So it was about a 5-length advantage at 3/4 and then just kind of kicked away for everybody else. They'll look to come back next week and likely step it up. But like you said, Renegade Gypsy, 2 qualifiers in a row, and it's been individually clocked in the exact same time.
Yeah, it looks like that one is ready to rock with the Ontario Sire Stakes again just around the corner. Canada Day weekend is when it's slated to kick off here in the province of Ontario. Most of the horses and drivers have now entered the track for this 5th race. We talked about Drinks at Home, the number 4, leaving just inside of that one will be the number 4, Mr. Zuinetti. For Team Jameson, Carl co-owns this one with Doug Good of Chatham and Joanne Morrison of Beaton, Ontario. Carl Training and Jody will drive. Did surface a week ago, finished 3rd in that qualifier and charted in 2:03 and 4. Cantab Hall gelding from the former Ontario Sire Stakes star Danielle Hall. It was campaigned by Carl and made almost $700,000 during her illustrious racing career. Mr. Zuinetti is one of those that will be looking to step up, I'm sure, a little bit in the time department today. Real workmanlike effort, I thought, a week ago. And again, with the conditions today, you'd have to think that they'll be looking for something a little quicker this morning and a little more of a tune-up for that first pari-mutuel start, whenever that might be. The number 1, Rose Run Excalibur, is another royalty for life in here from the trotting mare Debrina. Second living full from this one. The first made $70,000, so good start for her so far in terms of her new career as a broodmare. And this guy was a $35,000 yearling purchase last fall from Harrisburg. Got a field of 8 scheduled to go. We'll head up to Mark again quickly, and he can update us if there were any late changes in the lineup here.
One scratch here, as it'll be the 4, Mr. Zuinetti, that is out here this morning. So that'll bring us down to a field of 7. Starting gate is now moving. Time for the 5th baby race here today. Scratch number 4, Mr. Zuinetti. It'll be a field of 7. Number 1, Rose Run Excalibur, is a royalty for life colt owned by Scott McEnany, Dominic Shiravalli, Gary Volpe, and Mart West Racing Stable. Scott McEnany trains, Paul McDonnell drives, $35,000 Harrisburg purchase. 2 is Jasperson, an Angus Hall colt owned by Andrew Lee Racing Stables. Also the breeders, Dagfinn Henriksen will train and drive. 3 is Kipper Whippersnipper. This is a royalty for life colt owned by Edward Wilson, who is also the breeder. Rob Fellows trains, Louis Waugh drives. 4 is out. 5 is Drinks at Home, a royalty for life colt owned by Determination, trained by Luke Blais. Bob McClure drives, a $47,000 Harrisburg purchase. 6, Usurp Hanover, is a wheelin' and dealin' colt owned and driven by Eddie Green, trained by Keelan Green, $30,000 Harrisburg purchase. 7 is Resolute Bay, a gelded son of Resolve, owned by the stable, trained by Johnny McKinnon. James McDonald drives, $25,000 Lexington purchase. And 8 is Flanagan Victory, a royalty for life colt owned by Liette Flanagan, also the breeders. Renee Dion trains, Chris Christoforou will drive. The 1 scratch of number 4, Mr. Zuinetti, brings us down to a field of 7. 2-year-old Colton Gelding trotters have assembled, and they're at the top of the stretch. And they're off and trotting. From the center, Usurp Hanover will push forward. Also doing that is Resolute Bay. Then at the outside is Flanagan Victory. At the inside, Rose Run Excalibur. Getting away 5th is Jasperson. And then we go back to Kipper Whippersnipper. And on the outside of that one is Drinks at Home, who will get away at the rear of the field. They go into the first turn, and they are following Resolute Bay, who's put on the front by James McDonald. Resolute Bay coming up to the opening quarter here. Not a lot of early speed. They're there in 31 and 3. Onto the backstretch they'll go. Resolute Bay, your leader by a couple of lengths. Racing in second, Usurp Hanover. Then it's a break of 3 going back to Rose Run Excalibur in third. Another 2.5 lengths back to Flanagan Victory in fourth. Fifth is Jasperson, followed 6 by Kipper Whippersnipper, and your trailer is Drinks at Home. Up the back stretch, and it's Resolute Bay leading it by a length and a half as Usurp Hanover wants to sit right on that rival's back, getting the 2-hole trip. They come up to the midway point, which is on the board in 102 and 4. They go on to the far turn. The leader is Resolute Bay, second qualifier for this gelded son of Resolve. Usurp Hanover, also his second cue. He's tracking there second. Third is Rose Run Excalibur, break of a half dozen lengths going back to Flanagan Victory in fourth. Fifth is Jasperson. Sixth is Kipper Whippersnipper. And then 3 lengths back to your trailer, Drinks at Home, on to 3/4. It has been Resolute Bay who has been calling the shots, and Resolute Bay might have a challenge here now as Usurp Hanover looks ready for the stretch drive. 132 and 4. That was 30 seconds even in the third quarter into the stretch, and Resolute Bay tries to kick away. Resolute Bay came right down to the cones there, gets a couple taps here from McDonald, holds it by 2. Second is Usurp Hanover. Rose Run Excalibur looking to finish up strong in third. Flanagan Victory is fourth, and on the outside, Kipper Whippersnipper into fifth. Deep stretch, it's Resolute Bay with the lead. Usurp Hanover making one last lunge. They hit the line in 2:02 and 1 as it'll go to Resolute Bay.
Resolute Bay, one of those chestnuts that we talked about competing this morning, a gelded son of Resolve from the Yankee Glide Mare Tequila Slammer, making this one a half brother to the $500,000 winner, the Veteran. And we also talked about how these horses will take week 1 just to kind of get acclimated, get the experience of going around, and then look for a bit of improvement or a step forward in week 2, and that was the case with this guy. Finished 5th last weekend here, charted in 2:03 and 1, and today is able to be handled more aggressively, showed good tactical speed, rated nicely on the front end, and then able to hold off a late challenge for the victory. Usurp Hanover out for a second qualifier as well. The Wheeling and Dealing Colt is a sibling to a quartet of $100,000 plus winners, and was a good lapped on second and closing a bit on the winner. And Rose Run Excalibur right there with the top pairing in finishing third for trainer Scott McEnany and driver Paul McDonnell. 2:02 and 1 the win time, 29 and 2 final quarter to seal the deal for Resolute Bay. Driver James McDonald teaming up with trainer Jonathan McKinning for the stable Resolute Bay of Guelph, Ontario. Going to get our first look at rookie pacers coming up next in qualifier number 6. Again, 14 in total here this morning. It's going to be a busy one, and we'll let you know. We'll take a break after the 7th, I believe. So we'll be taking a break as we did yesterday to give the horses in the second half of today's session a chance to get out and warm up in preparation. During the break, we'll ask you to stay tuned with us. We'll have a feature on track announcer Ken Middleton, which we aired recently, and if you haven't had a chance to see that, we'll air that, and Kenny will have a starter coming up later this afternoon as well. Might try and sneak in an interview for you during that time as well. So still plenty of coverage left to come today, and excited now to get our first look at pacing colts and geldings here in qualifier 6. Again, a big hello to everybody tuning in today. Got JD Varnell on board as always, watching in from Kawartha Lakes. Great to have you on board, JD. Gave us an update on some qualifying action south of the border today. And a trotting filly named Mont Cheval, winner in 54 and 2 for Team Tactor. And pacing colt Southern Gendry tells us that he was a winner in 149 and 3 with a 26 and 1 final quarter for Team Burke. Look forward to seeing that guy north of the border here this season. Barb Timmons Longafee, regular viewer, watching in from Cape Breton. Hi to Barb. Hi to Chris Roberts, our Atlantic Bureau Chief. He's keeping close tabs from down in Halifax. Maybe enjoying some lobster or something down there today. And he's always good to tune in and give us feedback on the show. Thank you, Chris, and thank you to everybody tuning in. And again, let us know where you're tuning in from. Mike Pennington, I guess one of the bigger Hab fans here in the country, watching in today as well. So yeah, great to have everybody on board. And thank you for watching in this morning. It's great to be able to provide this coverage for you. Pacers here in qualifier number 6. And interesting, Mark, a couple in here that didn't go through the traditional sales route last year. And we talked a lot last season about some of the online sales platforms, and one of them was hoofbid.com. And a couple of horses that were sold through that online platform surface here. Number 3, I'm King Khan, and the number 6, Almost Their Boss.
Yeah, well, everything's changed, hasn't it, in the last year and a half? I guess last year, if there was ever going to be a time to really push the online auctions, 2020 was definitely the year. Of course, Hoofbid, a new platform, and then of course as well you had the London Select Yearling sale moving to ongate.com. That's how they conducted that sale, and you'll notice if you follow along with the yearling prices, because these are being done online, you're getting away from the traditional 20,000, 40,000. We're seeing numbers like we see here with a horse like Almost Their Boss, $15,100. So I'm rounding up or rounding down, I guess you could say, when I'm giving out the yearling prices. But again, it sounds like that will continue, at least going forward. I'm sure we'll get back to the more traditional way of doing sales here very soon, but that online platform's not going to go anywhere, is it? And I'm King Khan is a graduate of the Hoofbid sale who really caught my eye last week, and one that I'm very excited to see here in the upcoming 6th.
He looked very good, I thought. And yeah, I concur with you, Mark. I think, I think when possible, trainers will want, or horse people will want to see yearlings in person to get that look and feel for them. But having said that, I think this online platform and that format will be here to stay in some capacity, so some type of hybrid. And you're seeing that in all lines of business, frankly. Horse racing is just another one of them. But the technology, the convenience of it, it certainly has a place, and it's really interesting, and we'll see more and more of these horses with those types of yearling prices and going through those platforms, I'm sure, in the coming years. Good looking field of 8 in here. Garnet Barnsdale, our colleague, has commented in, and excited to watch his sports writer filly Just Call Me Song. And excited to watch her qualify yesterday. Yes, that's right. She was involved in the filly side yesterday. So thanks to Garnet for tuning in and letting us know. And we'll be keeping tabs on her throughout the season as well. Good looking group of rookie colt pacers here. Once again, Mark with the call.
Number 6, scratch number 1 and number 5. Sylvan Filion drives to 6, Almost Their Boss. We'll start with number 2, Team Mac, gelded son of Better's Delight. Hutt Racing Stable, Steve Heimbecker and Blake McIntosh are your owners. McIntosh trains. Phil Houdon will drive, $72,000 Lexington grad. 3, I'm King Khan, owned by Princeton Farms, Joanne McComb and Dr. Ian Moore, along with Dale Spence. Spence does the driving. Ian Moore trains, $19,000 hoof bid graduate. 4, Matters Most, a Thinking Out Loud colt, a homebred for the Bob McIntosh Stables, CSX Stables, and Dave Boyle. McIntosh trains, Trevor Henry drives. 5 is out. 6, Almost Their Boss, is a gelded son of Sunshine Beach, owned by the stable. Harry Polton trains. The driver will be Sylvan Filion, a $15,000 hoof bid purchase. 7, He Be Sunny, is a Sunshine Beach gelding, owned by Francis Dumichel, AQRE CSL, Travis Henry, and OAS 2021. Dumichel, the trainer. James McDonald drives, $24,000 Ontario purchase. And 8 is Arrow Magic, a big Jim colt, owned by Errol Harvey, a Fields. And this one's trained by Gerard Demers. Louis Watt does the driving. And they're off and pacing here in the 6th as we move over to the pace for the first time this morning. And I'm King Khan strides out to the early lead. Getting away in 2nd is Team Mac, and then there in 3rd is He Be Sunny, followed 4th by Matters Most. Lining up 5th, Almost Their Boss, and Arrow Magic will be the early trailer. They go into the first turn, and it's I'm King Khan, a winner last week, going all the way on the front end. And the He's Watching colt, I'm King Khan, is going to lead them to the opening quarter in 30 seconds even. They'll move into the backstretch, and they're following I'm King Khan. 30 seconds was the opener. Tracking the leader, that is Team Mac in second. Third is He Be Sunny. Break of 5 lengths, then going back to Matters Most, who is racing fourth. Fifth up the backside, Almost There Boss. And your trailer is Arrow Magic. I'm King Khan, a winner in 156-2 last week. Kicked home in 27-2. Leads this one by a length and a half coming up to the midway point, which is up on the board in 1 minute and 2/5. 30-2 in the second quarter. I'm King Khan, the leader. In second is Team Mac, the debut qualifying for that gelded son of Better's Delight. Third is He Be Sunny, also debuting this morning. Break of 5 lengths back to Matters Most in his debut qualifier. He is followed by Almost There Boss, who we're also seeing for the first time. And your trailer, Arrow Magic, also a debuter. So the one with the experience, I'm King Khan, ramps it up a little bit here, leading by a pair at 3/4 in 128-3. So he certainly ramped it up there. 28-1 in the third quarter. They're into the stretch, and I'm King Khan looks to just scoot away. He'll look to power home once again. I'm King Khan. On the outside, He Be Sunny has now moved into second. Team Mac is in third. Then it's back to Matters Most, Arrow Magic, and Almost There Boss. 16th to go. I'm King Khan going to get asked here in deep stretch as he'll be pushed to the line, but it's I'm King Khan to take it. Second went to He Be Sunny. Team Mac was third. Matters Most then followed by Almost There Boss and Arrow Magic. Time of the mile 156-4 for I'm King Khan, a winner once again.
I'm King Khan getting it done for the second consecutive week, a son of He's Watching. Dale Spence in the driver's seat. Dale, who's been working with Ian Moore for, I think, a little over a year now, from the East Coast of Canada, so not surprising. Ian Moore's former home as well. And Dale up here now helping and doing some of the driving in these qualifying races as well. He's watching first full from Better's Delight mare Sweet Brown, a second consecutive victory, and another eye catcher, 56-4 the win time, 56-2 on the end. And I thought He Be Sunny looked very good, chasing to the end, and it wasn't being overly extended to do it. Finishes lapped on to the winner in that one, a Sunshine Beach. Gelding out for his first spin around the Mohawk Oval here, $24,000 Ontario Select yearling purchase last season for Francis Dumichel, who co-owns this one, along with Écurie CSL and Travis Henry. And Francis doing the training in this one. Looks like they've got a good one on their hands there. Team Mac, the Better's Delight colt from the Blake McIntosh stable, rounding out your top 3 in qualifier 6. Our first look at the Pacers this morning as we just come up to the midway point on this Saturday. Again, want to welcome everybody tuning in today. A hello to some folks watching in from far afield today. Seamus O'Donnell, all the way from Ireland, and commenting on the HRU feed today. Great to have you with us. Any relation to the Magic Man, Bill O'Donnell? Maybe a long-lost cousin? James Pearson from Scotland. And I think James has tuned into our shows before. Thank you for joining, James. And we've got Jim Hayes joining us as well from Corydon, hopefully pronouncing that correctly, Indiana. He's watching qualifiers from both Hoosier Park this morning and, of course, here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. So, yeah, we're skimming through the different platforms that we are on today, and wonderful to have you watching, and would love to hear from you if you are tuning in from outside the province, especially here this morning. We have one more to go, I think, before the break here. Another field of Pacers in this spot, a field of 9 will face the starting gate in this upcoming 7th. The combination of Herb Holland and Gino Toscani have had a couple of winners this morning, and they send out number 1 Tryon DeVee for the second time from First Crop Stallion Huntsville, sibling to a pair of $250,000 winners. 6th last week and charted in 201-1. We'll look to improve on that here this morning. Couple of doors down, high-profile individual named Mr. Dress Up, a Shadow Play gelding, half-brother to the $1.4 million winner, Dapper Dude, for Bob McIntosh, who co-owns with Al McIntosh, and Beverly Snobelin of Ridgetown, Ontario. Heading out from our paddock location, again, we'll go back up to Mark McKelvey for the rundown from qualifier 6.
And 4. He was a winner last week at 156 and 2, but he takes it here this morning, 56 and 4, 28 and 1 final quarter to win it by a half length. And as you mentioned, Hebe Sunny, a nice effort there. That one was about 4 lengths off at 3/4. Gets beat half a length, paced a good final quarter there. If my calculations are right, he was down to 3/4 in 129 and 2 and goes his mile 156 and 4. So a 27 and 2 final quarter there. That was pretty nice for Hebe Sunny. But your order finished from top to bottom: scratch 314, scratch 526. I'm King Khan takes it in the 6th as we continue on now with the Pacers.
Field of 9 coming up here. While we have a moment before the start, let's give you a quick look at the upcoming Ontario Sire Stakes schedule. Yes, the OSS season for 2021 is almost set to kick off. It's going to happen with a bang here on Canada Day weekend. Right here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, going to be a busy spot. Thursday night, 3-year-old Colt Trotters and 3-year-old Filly Trotters, both in OSS Gold divisions. Friday night, welcome the 2-year-old Filly Pacers to town. And then on Saturday night, the Glamour Boys, 3-year-old Colt Pacers, as well as the rookie Colt Pacers squaring off. And that same night at Hiawatha Horse Park in Sarnia, they'll welcome grassroots divisions for the 3-year-old Colt Trotters. Ontario Sire Stakes, certainly one of the greatest stakes programs in North America, and it is exciting to welcome it back for 2021. And by the looks of the babies we have seen here through the first 2 weeks, it's going to be another bumper crop of youngsters. Of course, with the 3-year-old, some high-profile individuals will be back and competing on both the trot and the pace this year as well. If you want more information, make sure to visit OntarioSireStakes.com. Final look at the field page here for the upcoming 8th race. We talked about the one-horse Tryon de Vie, the 3 Mr. Dress Up that's going to be coming back into action here. Blake McIntosh, who's sent out a number of winners in recent weeks, sends out 4 Raising Sand. Phil Hudon driving that, son of sports writer. Your post 2 starter is the Anthony Beaton trained Sylvain Filion driven Many Moons, a son of Sweet Lou, and the second foal from the Western Ideal mare Solar Eclipse. And the first one, Summer Ray, has done well. Only 19 starts, 11 on the board finishes, and over $75,000 earned. This one was a $55,000 Harrisburg yearling purchase for owner Mac Nickel of Burlington and Robert Jones of Stony Plain, Alberta. Field of 8 Pacers here for race number 7 on the Saturday morning. Mark McKelvey has the call next.
In motion for our 7th baby race, 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. No changes here. One is Tryon de Vie, a Huntsville colt owned by Gino Toscani. He'll drive for trainer Herb Holland, $11,000 Lexington Select purchase. 2 is Many Moons, a Sweet Lou colt owned by Mac Nickel. Robert Jones, trained by Anthony Beaton. Sylvain Filion drives, $55,000 Harrisburg graduate. 3 Mr. Dress Up is owned by Robert McIntosh Stables, Al McIntosh Holdings, and Beverly Snobelin, trained by Bob McIntosh. Trevor Henry drives the gelded son of Shadow Play. 4 is Raising Sand, a sports rider colt owned by Hut Racing Stable, Steve Heimbecker and Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains Phil Hudon in the sulky, $55,000 Lexington Select purchase. 5 is Airy Shadow, Shadow Play colt owned by Greg McNair, the Ilderton Boys Stable. McNair, the trainer. Doug McNair drives, $60,000 Harrisburg buy. 6 is Fox Valley Carlin, Art Speak colt owned by Michael Camaglio William Richardson, and Rhonda Gill Martin, trained by Paul Reed. Bob McClure drives, $19,000 Illini sale purchase. 7 is My Blueberry Buck, a Thinking Out Loud gelding, homebred from Alar Farms. Nick Galucci trains. James McDonald drives. 8 is A Fair Somewhere, Lion Somewhere colt owned by Elizabeth and Alan Fair. Alan Fair trains. Jody Jameson drives. And the 9 is Aiden James. Oriel Harvey A. Fields is the owner. Gerard Demare trains. Louis Waugh will drive, a $17,000 Ontario purchase. And they're off and pacing here in the 7th qualifier. And we've got some speed to the inside as Trion DeVee, along with Raising Sand, come away well. There's Many Moons from the outside. Put into the early mix is A Fair Somewhere, who might slide up into 3rd. Getting away in 5th, that is My Blueberry Buck. That one will be followed around the first turn by Airy Shadow. And we had a breaker in the first turn. Off stride went A Fair Somewhere. A Fair Somewhere made a miscue there before the opening quarter, which was paced in 28-4. Good opening quarter there. Into the backstretch they'll go. And the leader by a couple of lengths is Raising Sand. In second is Trion DeVee. Third is Many Moons, who is followed 4th by My Blueberry Buck. 5th up the backstretch is Airy Shadow. Then racing in 6th, that is Aiden James, who is followed 7th by that first turn breaker, A Fair Somewhere. Mr. Dress Up is 8th, and the trailer 9th is Fox Valley Carlin. The half was 59-4, so they were back down there 31 seconds in the second quarter. They're following Raising Sand. Raising Sand, the sports writer colt, second qualifier for him, leads it by a pair with 5/8 now complete. Trion DeVee in second, 2.5 lengths back to Many Moons in third, who is followed 4th by My Blueberry Buck. 5th is Airy Shadow. Then we go about 4 lengths back to Aiden James. To the outside comes A Fair Somewhere, Mr. Dress Up, and your trailer is Fox Valley Carlin. 3/4 time was 1:29 into the stretch. And it is Raising Sand. Raising Sand with a lead of almost 4 lengths. Here's Many Moons, who's now moved into second, and Many Moons is making up ground. There's a 16th to go, and Raising Sand will look to his right and see Many Moons coming on by to take it. Many Moons in the debut to score by a length. Raising Sand was second. Finishing up well in third there was My Blueberry Buck. 4th was Airy Shadow, 1:58-1.
Very workmanlike winning effort for Many Moons, victorious in qualifier 7, stops the clock in 1:58-1. I would say very much a measured victory for this one. Just getting up on the wire for driver Sylvain Filion, trainer Anthony Beaton. Again, a $55,000 Harrisburg yearling purchase, son of Sweet Lou from Western Ideal mare Solar Eclipse. Stops the clock 58-1. That's a 58-2 back half to haul down the pace-setting Raising Sand. And a lapped on third, My Blueberry Buck, a son of the late Thinking Out Loud, for James McDonald and Nick Galucci. So that will be a wrap of the first half of the Saturday baby race session here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Busy morning. It's now time to take a bit of a break. Horses will be making their way out for warm-ups here as we get set for the second half of what has been a busy and very entertaining morning so far. Again, big welcome to everybody tuning in from around North America today. We'd love hearing from you and where you are watching in from. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. And we've got lots left to come your way here. It'll be a break of about a half an hour or so. We'll try and grab an interview if we can during this downtime. We will have a feature for you on our track announcer here, longtime track announcer at Woodbine Mohawk Park, Ken Middleton, who also is now raising and developing and training some of his own horses as well. So we had a chance to stop by his farm recently and aired a feature on him that we will rebroadcast. And Kenny, in fact, has a horse competing a little bit later on this afternoon. So far, though, some really impressive performances. We talked about Herb Holland and Gino Toscani, a couple of winners for them. We've had some impressive debuts on the pace as well, and some high-profile horses that we're going to watch for a little bit later on during the card. Mark McKelvey, bring you in one more time before we take a bit of a break here. Just overall, you like what you've seen so far? I know one thing we have seen, again, is some of those horses coming back for week 2 and showing that nice progression.
Yeah, we did expect that, didn't we? And we have seen that. I was happy to see, I know we talked about it off the top, the horse I had circled was on King Khan. I was happy to see him come back and look just as impressive as he did last week. A very professional performance, because I guess you could say we don't like to get fooled. It's easy sometimes for first impressions to really be an impression that sticks with you for a long time, and especially for the horse players out there, sometimes you can sort of fall in love with a horse that you see might have that talent and that ability and potential, and continue to wait for them to tap into it. But there's one that really followed up his debut well. One thing I'll point out though, Greg, is maybe a lack of the speed early on. I know the trotters, a lot of them were debuting, so again, they're going to be handled carefully, but even with the pacers here, we'll see if they pick it up here in the back half. 56-4, a good mile. I'm King Kong won 56 last week. Here we just saw a 58-1 performance. I think you pointed out well that Many Moons probably could have gone a little more there, but was likely a measured score by Sylvain Filion. We'll just see if that speed, maybe picks up a bit in the back half, because I'd say the track looks like it's in great condition. There was a bit of rain yesterday, but the crew's been hard at work, and on a hot morning like this, the sun really shining, I think we got a real fast strip out there, and I think some of these 2-year-olds in the back half, especially with it being pacers, will likely maybe dazzle us a little bit. Just something to get us really excited.
Yeah, I'm the same, and I thought off the top, my gut instinct is that we'll see something somewhere along the way today in the 14 races jump up and really impress. But he's King Kong, I agree, or I'm King Kong, sorry. Very impressive, and I thought the runner-up equally impressive. He Be Sunny, our first look at that one. Just the body language of the horse, just a big bow in his neck, finishing up, big, strong-looking colt. I would certainly expect that that's a horse that we're going to hear from, if not next week, back in qualifying action as soon as he makes his pari-mutuel debut. And again, we have expectations coming in based on horses' pedigree when we see them for the first time. They're a brother or a sister to so-and-so. We just expect they're going to be a duplicate of that. And as we've seen in the first half, that's not necessarily the case. Some of the ones we profiled, didn't jump up and really wow us, but they could improve rapidly again next week too.
Yeah, they could. Another thing to keep in mind too is, 2-year-old races have been written on the condition sheet this week. They're written next week. So for some of these horses that come out here today, whether they win or not, if they turn in a pretty good performance, you have to think some of these trainers will be a little tempted to drop them in the box and see if they can really step up under the lights, especially considering it's maybe not necessarily going to be the biggest field of 2-year-olds that first week that we do finally card a race, and hey, you get to go for money rather than qualifying here maybe a second or a third time. So don't be surprised if we do get a chance to see the 2-year-olds in pari-mutuel action, maybe by even a week from now, maybe next Friday night.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Mark. And yeah, we're going to take a break now. So again, we'll be back in approximately 20 minutes or so. We've got a feature that we're going to air in between, and maybe try and get an interview for you. Either way, we'll be back on live here in about 20 minutes from now to take you through the back half of today's qualifying session. You're watching it live on COSA-TV from Woodbine, Mohawk Park.
They're often pacing. Leaving in the center with speed, Platine Alpha, Jackie of all trades, jumps up on the accelerator too.
At first, that's where the complete fascination was, calling races. There was something about it that was intriguing, and it still is. But at the same time, then you get curious about seeing people train the horses and stuff like that. So you'd venture out to training centers, jog the odd one, talk to people, but you just always got the impression that they thought you're just a guy in a suit who sits up on top of the grandstand and doesn't really grasp the reality of what we do here in the trenches. So I don't know if I took that personal sometimes, or it was just a challenge. It was a warning shot fired. So I always did love the horses. I had some cheap ones and this and that, but it was really when we got into the yearling aspect and bought yearlings. That's when I really started to fall in love with that part of the other side of the industry. Just seeing them progress. I guess it's just like having a child. You see them get older and you appreciate how they can skate or learn to skate. Or it's the same with the horses. So that's kind of the way it worked out. I would say it was when I started getting the bills for other people looking after the horses and stuff. I just realized it wasn't financially feasible to want to do that. So, not to mention I enjoyed it too. I was curious about that aspect of the industry. It's just like anything else. You want new challenges in life to drive you a bit, and I really love the time I get to see them and spend with them and stuff. I can have a coffee in the morning and look out my kitchen window and there's my horses. It's that connection and the appreciation of them, and I wanted to have that on a daily basis. So I used to watch horses as a handicapper, know horses that were locked in from week to week, and I could, if someone asked me for a winner or something like that, or a horse that I'd recommend, I could, in a snap of a finger, give them 10 just off the top of my head. But it's not that way anymore. I tend to focus on race nights, watching horses warm up and how trainers have horses rigged up equipment-wise and different things. I'm just looking at that kind of thing as opposed to watching horses for the sake of wanting to bet on them, or recommend a horse to bet on to someone else. I don't know. It's something that intrigues me, and that's what I tend to focus on now. Horses that catch your eye, or how they're gaited, or how they're rigged up and stuff like that. If you're in this industry and you race and raise horses, you'd love to have a horse just in a big race. It'd be awesome to win it, but just being in it it's quite an accomplishment in itself. I haven't reached that point yet, obviously, but I'm striving to. I'm not going to lie, I don't do this just because I like doing it. It's because financially I'd love to have a handsome windfall someday. And you see other people too. There's lots of people that are in the industry at a small level that can have great success. Gord Irwin comes to mind, guy that bred his own, and back-to-back years he had 2 incredible home runs. People would love to have a horse like In Vitro, but then he followed up with big-time balls. So yeah, those kind of things are obviously something that you dream about, and I'd be lying if I said, yeah, I would love someday to be in that position, to be in a race like that. So yeah, ultimately, hopefully we can get there. I think the most rewarding thing so far for me was the filly we raced this year. This past year, she's a Sassy Beach, because it's funny, I've been asked the question a bunch of times, is it hard to call that race when your horse is in it? Yes, it is hard, because you want to be professional and try not to have that influence you in any way, but deep inside, it's killing me. It's because she was in the 2-hole turning home in the final that night, and I thought going into the race she was in the best shape we could have her in, and I thought I had a realistic chance to win it. But at the top of the stretch, when she came out of the 2-hole, I was almost certain she was going to win, but all the memories just came flashing back and rushing back. The day she was born, I can remember up the road at Bill Crow's farm, holding her in my hands and just watching her grow up. When I'd go to the farm and see her grow, and it's just funny. You think back to all those flashbacks of things along the way, and then breaking her and getting her in a harness for the first time, and just all those steps. It's a lot of work and a lot of dedication, but there's not a feeling like it in the world when they get to the winner's circle, I'll tell you. My first experience at the Jockey Club, or WEG, it's changed a few times now. I filled in. They needed a trackside interviewer for their North America Cup elimination night. Karen Houdon was doing the broadcasting on TV at the time. She was racing a trotting filly named Remarkable Image, and she had to go to Barrie to race in a gold elimination. So Ken Middleton got the tap on the shoulder, and I was the guy. And I was starstruck because I got to interview guys like John Campbell and David Miller and Ron Pierce, and it was just an awesome experience. And it just so happened that Karen's filly advanced to the final, so she was gone for the next week too, and I got to go back for a second week and be the trackside reporter for the North America Cup. And that's when it started. And then shortly thereafter, I was offered a full-time position, and I jumped at the opportunity. I wanted to be there. The world's best horsemen were there. It was just a great team of people working in the department, and it's ultimately what I wanted to do. It was a dream come true, really. Yeah, I did the broadcasting for 8 years. It was 2006. Frank Salive had turned in his resignation. I ultimately always dreamt of doing that job. I love doing TV. I love broadcasting and interacting with the people, but announcing the races was, it was a different love. I did love the opportunity to do that, and I still do. Do I miss the interaction with people at ground level, interviewing and stuff every single time? But I make sure I go out and touch base with a lot of those people. I've remained friends with them and stuff. But yeah, announcing's different. You're in a booth by yourself, and you just have a different role. That's all. But it's fantastic. Two highlights. The Some Beach Somewhere Pepsi North America Cup was surreal. Not just because of his star power, but because of the gathering of people that were not only at the track, but when you think about it, people from all over the world had to be tuning in, because he was a once in a he was the generational horse for us. Just the way Niatros was in his day. He was a special horse. So that was a very unique experience and a surreal experience, just because of the deafening crowd that was there, and it was massive, like unlike any other that I've experienced. And the Sandpail Breeders' Crown Race, because there was a lot of build up to that race. It wasn't just about one horse. There was the international flavor that was added to the race that year, and it lived up to the hype. It was a great race. The horses that were supposed to be there at the finish were there, and Sandpail, he's another horse who had an incredible gathering, so for him to be at the top of his game that night, it was another awesome experience I'll never forget. Oh, without a doubt. I'd love to have a horse in the North America Cup. But somebody asked me the question, if you did have a horse in the North America Cup, would you be in the paddock or would you be calling the race? That made me think. That's not an answer that comes along quite as easy. I would probably still love to call the race, but I just can't imagine stepping on the pedal as they went in behind the gate. I really can't. I don't know. That'd be a totally different situation. I would like to think I could keep it together. I have in the past. It was funny. The mother of that foal over there, Little Miss Sporty, she was in an OSS Gold going for $105,000 in her second career start. She swept from 8th to finish second. She was like 60 to 1. And I've gone back and listened to the race call, and I've had people say to me, "You never gave your filly a call, like you didn't get excited." And well, that's good. Then I'm doing my job. It's because you can't identify that I've got a vested interest in a horse there. This year was different though with She's a Sassy Beach. I did get a little teared up and stuff like that. I'd lost my partner and a longtime friend, and I was thinking of him at the time, and how much I wished he could have been there. So that was a different experience. It was noticeable that I was getting choked up and emotional about it, but it's just my human instincts kicked in, and I was feeling emotional about that. So I wish Bill could have been there. He wasn't, and that was a totally different race though, yeah. Bill Galvin and my father were very close friends. It goes back to the days of the ice racing in the Rideau Canal. They worked hand in hand at putting that together. They were both very proud of the fact that they worked together and put together that, because it was quite a national treasure for many, many years. Dignitaries, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, I believe, was there one year and stuff like that. So it was something they were very proud of, that they were part of. So my dad and Bill remained friends. When my dad passed away, Bill reached out to me. My father started getting involved in purchasing some small pieces of yearlings, and Bill approached me and said, I'd like to keep that going. He said, would you mind if I became a partner? And I said, that's great, that's awesome. And Bill was, if you never met Bill, he honestly was truly one of the nicest gentlemen you're ever going to meet. You'd never forget that you talked to him, because every time he spoke with you, there was sincerity, you just knew he was paying attention to what you were saying. You listened to what he had to say, and he definitely listened to what you had to say. When he phoned you on the phone, it was just that genuine sincerity. He was a guy who would do anything for you, and then vice versa. You would do anything for him, and that's just the kind of guy he was. And yeah, I dearly miss him. It's such a shame, because he was so great for racing, but he was just a salt of the earth gentleman, just an absolute gentleman. I would say 10 years from now, I don't have visions of grandeur. This is a lifetime investment. It's something that I, not at all points in my life dreamed of, but later in life, it's what I dreamt of, the serenity, like I say, just the opportunity to look out my window and see my horses there and interact with them on a daily basis. I don't see it getting any bigger, because I'm limited to what I can do here with the size of the land that I have to work with, but it's enough for me. It's the fruits of my labor. I've worked hard. It's in our DNA. My mom's a hard worker. My dad was a hard worker, and it's just in that Middleton DNA. We love to work hard, and I love every opportunity to come out in the backyard and work on a project or work with the horses. It's something I never get out of bed, put it this way, and say, oh crap, I got to go to the barn. I love getting up, especially training days. I can't get out of bed fast enough. Like, it's just, I love it. It's what I signed up for, and I'm all in.
And welcome back, everybody, to Woodbine Mohawk Park. Greg Blanchard, trackside, Mark McKelvey from up top in the announcer's booth. Beautiful morning. Again, if you're just joining us, dramatically different than what you saw yesterday if you tuned in. And Mark, from your vantage point, you certainly would notice that as well. Talk about the impact you think it would have versus yesterday and even a week ago, where we had another different scenario with heavy wind in the home stretch, pushing them home into those fast final quarters. Today, that's not the case.
No, that's not the case. I guess it's definitely June in Canada when you consider we can get any kind of weather at any time of the year, but the conditions have been very different from the past few days of baby races over the last week, and I think here today's probably been the most ideal conditions that we've had. I think the track's in real good shape. I was out there earlier and I was talking with our track crew, and they were pretty happy with how things came together considering the conditions that we had yesterday. One thing's for sure, you know, the babies here, we were talking about the fact that we thought they might go a little quicker, and I think that will probably be the case here in the back half. But imagine here tonight, you know, we got some real good pacers on the card this evening, and so I would probably see some pretty good miles. It's just that time of the year, and especially with the horses that are now back racing here in Ontario, most of them having a start under their belt, a little tighter, and likely going to be ready to rock here this evening. But looking forward to our back half of action, and you know, we talked a little bit about some of them that we were keeping around in the front half, and here in the back half, there's no shortage of horses that certainly jump off the page when you check out their pedigrees.
Absolutely, and then we'll dive into that race by race as we go along. Maybe just a quick comment on you know, what we've seen so far in the first couple of weeks since racing has returned here to Mohawk Park. Really good card last night, and a mild upset in the top Mare's Preferred Pace, and so much more. Didn't win, but she raced great.
Yeah, she did. She ends up finishing second to Karma Sealster, who scoots up the inside. And I'd have to say, as somebody, you know, working for a racetrack, you do like to see that, especially considering a Karma Sealster, you know, she's making that jump now into the older ranks, and here she is in her second start of her 4-year-old campaign, and she comes through and wins that top class, and that likely sets up for what should be a real strong year for Karma Sealster. We know that that 4-year-old season can sometimes take some adjustments, and will likely set up what should be some good rivalries that we can promote all year long. So much more. It's the type of mare that doesn't miss many weeks, had it not been for COVID. Who knows how many starts she would have had last year and likely have at this point this year, but she raced great once again, and we've got some good pacing mares here. So that was our top class last night. A preferred coming up tonight. Lawless Shadow, a top Pepsi North American Cup eligible. He'll also be in action tonight. He's going to be taking on some older rivals. But just to follow up on your question, how the first week or so has been going, I think we're going to start to see momentum really building. I know people like to pay attention to those handle numbers, and when you're coming back, the one thing to keep in mind is here in Ontario we were shut down, and unlike last year, where pretty much, the entire continent was shut down, the American tracks, our friends south of the border, they've been just humming right along. So now that we're back, we're trying to build up that momentum. We had a good wagering number last night. I think that'll carry over to tonight, and I think we're set up for what will be a real good summer. And another thing to keep in mind, Greg, is the battle amongst the drivers out there. How about this? After the first night that we came back, which was last Friday, ever since then, every card has seen a driver win at least 4 races on the program. So there's been a Grand Slam every single night. James McDonald's done it twice, Jody Jamieson, Doug McNair have done it, and then last night it was Sylvain Filion. So the wins are getting spread out, but when someone starts to win, they are doing some winning. The wins are coming in bunches, so we'll see if that trend can continue tonight, because if it does, that's something like I haven't seen in recent memory and maybe ever.
Really good card tonight, a strong program as mentioned, so we're looking forward to that. I know we've got some folks tuning in that watch very closely, guys like Garnet Barnsdale, so perhaps you've got a horse to watch tonight. If you do, Garnet or anybody else tuning in, leave us a comment and let us know. Another interesting race from last night, a group of the top 3-year-old fillies were back in action in a conditioned race, and Vols Delight, safe to say, she has come back very well, and I love Bob McIntosh's filly in there. She was closing up stoutly at the end, and then you throw bet on Becky. Nice to see that one returning and able to compete with those top fillies again.
Yeah, and you know what? On paper, that was a race that could have had a stakes race titled to it, because those were some good 3-year-old pacing fillies that were clashing last night. And you know, to your point about the winner in that race, obviously the Barjan barn has got high hopes for her. Bet on Becky, though, it was a very encouraging start for her. You know, we know what she did last year early on. She was hot out of the gate and put up those huge miles early on, and then, you know, obviously ran into some issues. And the one thing that, you know, just as a racing fan or anybody in this industry, is that you hope a horse like that can bounce back, because clearly she's got so much potential and so much ability, and I think that was a real good first start for her. She looks like she'll be a player once again. And hey, if these 3-year-old pacing fillies, the group that we saw last night and a couple others that are on paper here locally, I think we're going to have a real strong group that will be battling, and I think we'll also be able to hold their own when we do get on to the Grand Circuit scene later in the summer. Don't forget about a Scarlet Hanover. You know, she's Ontario sire. She's been racing south of the border. Put her into the mix, and we'll have a real good group here in Ontario.
So the Ontario Sire Stakes season just around the corner, set to kick off on Canada Day weekend. Thank you, Mark. We'll let you get back at it. He'll be calling the action, of course, the rest of the way here this morning. Again, welcoming all of you in as we start up our live coverage here once again. Just finishing up our mid-session break this morning for allowing horses to warm up for the second half. And we've got the horses and drivers on the track for the 8th. We talked about the Ontario Sire Stakes just around the corner. Will we be looking at a future OSS star perhaps this morning? And that's the fun part about the baby races. And we're getting our first look at many of these. Some of them, however, have already been in action a week ago and are returning for their second engagement here this morning. There's a look at your field for the upcoming 8th, the field of 7, including Gold Rush Sealster, the highest priced yearling that will face the gate today. A little over $200,000 this purchase last fall by Steve Heimbecker of Waterloo, shares ownership with Bloomingwood Farms Limited of Harriston, Ontario. The Bettor's Delight colt from Glamour Sealster. This is her first foal, and just from a brief racing career of only 18 starts, she was an 8-time winner and banked $230,000. And this mating again producing a $200,000 plus yearling purchase. So one of those high profile types, Mark, that we're anxious to see. Last year it was Marlborough Sealster, the highest priced yearling ever in Canada. Today it's a horse like Gold Rush Sealster that grabs our attention.
Sure does, Greg, and that's a good point that you bring up. For good or bad, I think I mentioned it last week, it adds expectations and puts a little pressure on everybody involved, but certainly gives us a storyline and something to watch. So we'll see what Gold Rush Sealster can do. You mean, we talked about Greg McNair, and sometimes I don't think he maybe gets the accolades that he deserves. So he's got a Bettor's Delight colt here that obviously they have high hopes for, and we'll see what he does in his debut here this morning.
And again, we want to welcome everybody tuning in today. Great to have you on board. If you are just joining us, drop us a comment and let us know where you are watching in from. Good morning to Pat Woods from Winback Farm. And he's watching in today, likes what he sees from the Winback bred 2-year-old so far this morning in the first half of the card. Hi to Pat and all the gang out there. They do a wonderful job and have an outstanding roster of Ontario Stallions standing at their operation as well. The starters have assembled in the backstretch and we're ready to kick off today's second half. Again, here's Mark McKelvey with the call.
Jody Jameson drives, $25,000 yearling purchase. 2, Sports Box, a sports writer colt, Gary Lance, BC Right-Hill, Paul Reed are the owners. Reed, the trainer, Bob McClure will drive. 3 is Gold Rush Sealster, a $201,000 yearling purchase. Bettor's Delight colt is owned by Steve Heimbecker and Bloomingwood Farms. Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair will drive. 4 is Sports Fan, a sports writer colt, owned by Leanne Murphy and Stuart McIntosh. Blake McIntosh trains, James McDonald steers. 5 is Stone Carver, a Bettor's Delight colt owned by Robert Bridges, also the breeder. Anthony Beaton trains, Scott Young drives. Number 6, Still Thirsty, a Thinking Out Loud colt. McIntosh Stables, CSX Stables are the owners. Bob McIntosh trains, Trevor Henry drives. 7 is Ron. Wilma and James McKenzie own this son of sports writer. Dr. Ian Moore trains and drives, a $26,000 yearling purchase. And the 8 is All in Jest, a Bettor's Delight gelding owned by Hut Racing Stable, Blake McIntosh and Linda Bedard. card. McIntosh Trains, Phil Houdon drives, a $20,000 yearling purchase. Starting picking up speed, and here they come. And they're off and pacing well back with Sportsbox, and also making a miscue before the start was Still Thirsty. So those two are going to be out of it before the word go. Out to the early lead. This is All in Jest from the outside, crossing over in front of Ron. They were next door neighbors on the wings of the gate, and they get away 1-2 despite those outside starting spots. Max Mann is in third, getting away fourth. Then as they drive into the turn, that is Stone Carver, who is then going to be followed as the opening quarter was on the board in 28 and 4. 28 and 4 opener. Looks like we got two of them out there wearing saddle pad number 3. So up the backside they go. And your leader is All in Jest. In second is Ron. Third is Masked Man. Racing fourth, that would be Stone Carver. Then racing fifth is Sports Fan, followed sixth by Gold Rush Sealster, and then well back to the Breakers, Still Thirsty, and Sports Box. The half was 59 and 1 as they go on to the far turn. And it's a 2-length advantage here for All in Jest. Second is Ron. Third is Masked Man. Racing in fourth, that is Stone Carver, the number 5. Off stride went Sports Fan. Makes a break here on the far turn. Inheriting that position will be Gold Rush Sealster. Going to 3/4, and Moore comes around with Ron. Ron on the outside, trying to overtake All in Jest. 3/4 time was 1:28 flat into the stretch, and it is Ron. Ron sweeps on by and looks to draw away in second. That is All in Jest. Racing third is Masked Man. Then we go back to Stone Carver in fourth, and then back in fifth as they come down the lane. That is Gold Rush Sealster. Coming to the line, it'll be Ron to take it by 3 lengths. Second went to All in Jest. Third was Stone Carver. Fourth, Masked Man. Then we go to Gold Rush Sealster, followed by Sports Fan, Still Thirsty, and Sports Box. 156 and 4 for Ron.
Number 7, Ron, getting it done for a second straight week. Ian Moore, the trainer, in the driver's seat once again. And the son of sports writer, now 2 for 2 in baby race action. This one was bred by Brent Hopper of Kentucky, owned by Wilma and James McKenzie of Ennismore. They're known for those single names, those single word names. And Ron has looked very good so far. The son of sports writer looks ready to hit the track for pari-mutuel action. A nice kind of a small, compact son of sports rider with a really nice gait to him, and probably going to be one of those types that's good on all size racetracks and should be a player somewhere in the OSS this coming season. So congratulations to the Connections. 2 in a row. All in Jest does the road work and finishes in second. Stone Carver, it was in fact the number 5, or supposed to be number 5, and that's the horse that finishes third. As Mark said, good lesson for race callers there. When something wonky like that happens, you just kind of talk your way through it, and that's why Mark's a pro. And yeah, there must have been an issue there. 3 Gold Rush Sealster had the right saddle pad, but the 5 also wearing a number 3 cloth. So a little confusion, to say the least, going to the opening quarter. So Ron is now 2 for 2 in baby race action, and looks good on the end. Wins pretty handily there in 56 and 4, using 57 and 3 back half speed to seal the deal there in qualifier 8 as we start the second half of today's 14 race extravaganza. We've got more pacers coming up here next in qualifier number 9. The 1 West is Best is going to be making his first appearance here at Mohawk Park, a Sunshine Beach colt from the Art Major mare Let's Head Out West. This one, a sibling to Best Head West, a 3-year-old filly who debuted last night. We talked a little bit about that during the break, and she was a charging third to Vol's Delight. She paced a big final quarter. She looks like she is coming back fantastic. And we're going to get a look at the younger half-brother here. West is Best from the McIntosh stable. best head west. The older sister won a gold division last year, also won a division of the Eternal Chem Nation during a very good 2-year-old campaign. So there's your field of 8 scheduled to go postward here in qualifier number 9. So Mark, we'll head it up to you. And nice job negotiating that first quarter and kind of figuring out what was going on back in qualifier 8.
Yeah, they don't want to make it easy for us here. I guess they're keeping us on our toes, but we got it sorted out. There's the photo finish call coming through now. So I think everybody will be on the right page, and we'll give you the rundown in a moment.
All right, we'll head back up to Mark in a second to get that rundown, talk a little bit about the horses we'll see here. Will be the second time getting a look at Shadow Moon Rising, number 5. We'll see Dr. Ian Moore right back with a Son of Shadow play here. Son Tyler going to drive this one, and guided Shadow Moon Rising to a second place finish last week, narrowly beaten. Just simply got out sprinted in the final quarter. They came home in 27-3. He was beaten 3/4 of a length. A Shadow play colt from the Western Hanover mare Lofty Yankee. It makes this one a brother to Shadow Moon, one that Ian Moore campaigned and had a very lucrative career as a young performer here in Ontario as well. In fact, this is the 11th foal from the dam and is the highest priced yearling to date. $115,000 purchase at last fall's Harrisburg sale. Nice up close look at them making their way out here for qualifier number 9. There's the 2, Free on the Beach. Jody Jameson teaming up with Rob Fellows on this one, a Sunshine Beach colt. The first foal of Western Terror mare Case Dismissed. A few more left to come. Let's head back upstairs to Mark for that 8th qualifier update.
Yeah, and here it is, that rundown. 485-63712. Of course, Stone Carver, who finished 3rd, was wearing saddle pad 3, but that was indeed the 5. But the winner, let's give Ron the credit that he deserves. Came out there at the 3/4 pole and comes on home to win 156-4, a 28-4 final quarter. Takes it by 4 1/4 lengths over All in Jest, who was doing the heavy lifting on the front end, setting fractions of 28-4, 59-1, 128. Final time 156-4. And Greg, I mentioned it, I do think we'll see some pretty good miles here, and that will likely start off the back half just the way we might have expected.
For sure. And talking about the contrast between horses that are easy to announce and ones that aren't, Ron, gives us a little bit of a break when you're announcing, and horses like that, you certainly don't have to worry about the pronunciation. And it never fails, especially with newcomers. There's always 2 or 3 names that jump out where we have to kind of put our heads together and ask each other if we know how to pronounce that name. So this is also a good time to let owners or connections out there know, yeah, anytime you hear us mispronounce a name, something that's a little bit different than ordinary, by all means, shoot us a line and let us know so we can get that corrected for you. But Ron, the type that certainly shouldn't trip up announcers going forward. Mark?
No, probably shouldn't, right? But,
shouldn't.
I don't want to make any guarantees. I think we're going to have about 3 scratches out of this next qualifier. I'll just get those confirmed right now, so the gate's about to move into position.
Alrighty, so the gate's about to roll. We'll give Mark a second to get those. It looks like the wings of the gate have opened and they are moving in, and yes, you can visually see that there are only 5 lining up, so that does mean 3 scratches. Let's go back up to Mark.
Here in the 9th qualifier, we're going to scratch number 4, My Mickey Beach, number 7, Whiskey Break, and number 8, Just Call Me Pete. It'll be now a field of 5. We'll start with number 1, West is Best, a Sunshine Beach colt owned by the Robert McIntosh Stables, CSX Stables, Al McIntosh Holdings, Bob McIntosh the trainer, Trevor Henry will drive. 2 is Free on the Beach, a Sunshine Beach colt owned by Bruce Somers, Robert McMillan, trained by Rob Fellows. Jody Jameson drives. 3 is 6 and 6, a gelded son of American Ideal, owned by 187-6472 Ontario Inc., trained by Blake McIntosh. James McDonald drives, a $30,000 yearling purchase. 4 is out. 5 is Shadow Moon Rising, a shadow play colt owned by Dr. Ian Moore, RG McGroup Limited. Serge Savard and Hudson Standardbred Stable. Ian Moore trains. Tyler Moore drives, $115,000 yearling buy. And the 6 is Sport Addiction, a sports rider colt owned by SNR Racing Stable. David Nickel and Stanley Zipkin. Renee Dion trains. Sylvain Filion drives, a $37,000 yearling purchase. 7 and 8 are scratched as well, so we're down to a field of 5 off stride before the start. That is 6 and 6. The other 4 are up on the wings of the gate. And they're off and pacing here in the 9th qualifier, and following the car out of there, Shadow Moon Rising was ready to rock, and Shadow Moon Rising goes out to the early lead. Free on the Beach is in 2nd, then racing in 3rd. That is Sport Addiction in front of West is Best in 6 and 6 after the break before the beginning. He'll be right there with his rivals as they go into the first turn. And the leader, this is Shadow Moon Rising, 2nd qualifier for the Son of Shadow play, and he's passed the opening quarter in 29 and 1. So last week he was put on the front, same strategy here this morning, and he's a leader of nearly 5 lengths. In 2nd is Free on the Beach, then we go back to Sport Addiction in 3rd. 4th is West is Best, and then 5th is 6 and 6. Up the backside they go, and they are following Shadow Moon Rising. Closing the gap in 2nd, as getting a little bit of a breather here is Shadow Moon Rising. So closing the gap is the Sunshine Beach colt, Free on the Beach, as he'll get on to the leader's back. Break of 5 lengths, then going back to Sport Addiction. He's a sports rider colt. The half was paced in 59 seconds flat, so that was 29 and 4 in the 2nd quarter. We'll check in with the Sunshine Beach colt West is Best, who is racing 4th, and the American Ideal gelding 6 and 6 in his debut is racing back there in 5th. They go past 5/8, and the leader is Shadow Moon Rising, $115,000 yearling buy, and he is really ramping it up here on the far turn. He was leading by about a couple lengths at the half. All of a sudden, he's on top by about a half dozen now, and he races past 3/4 in 1:27 flat. So he threw down there a 28-second 3rd quarter, and they're into the stretch. It is all Shadow Moon Rising. Back to Free on the Beach in 2nd. Sport Addiction is 3rd. West is Best 4th, and 6 and 6 is 5th. Less than an 1/8 of a mile to go. Slap of the wheel disc there for Shadow Moon Rising as he tries to finish this one off strong. Paced a big 3rd quarter. He's coming to the edge of the tote board all by himself. He'll win it by double digits, and he will stop the clock here today in 1:55 and 3. Finishing 2nd was Free on the Beach. Then it was Sport Addiction, West is Best, and 6 and 6.
Fastest mile of the day so far, 1:55 and 3/5 off of a 59-second first half for the shadow play colt Shadow Moon Rising. Let's get a nice look at him coming to the finish here with Tyler Moore doing the driving. Ian Moore training and co-owns with RG McGroup Limited and Serge Savard along with Hudson Standardbred Stable Incorporated. Much of the same ownership group that campaigned the stallion, of course, Shadow Play. And he looks good coming to the end here. That's a strong mile after finishing 2nd a week ago, getting out sprinted over the final quarter and missing narrowly today. Nobody close to this guy. 28-second 3rd quarter and polishes things off to the tune of 28 and 3 in winning. Sport Addiction, good effort from that one coming on in the late stages there. Free on the Beach in that mix as well. And there is West is Best, the first timer that finishes lapped on that 2nd grouping. But the winner was long gone, Shadow Moon Rising. Highest price yearling of the Western Hanover mare Lofty Yankee. And so far so good for this guy. Looks like he'll follow in the footsteps of older brother Shadow Moon, who early in his career was a stakes player here in the provincial program. So it looks like this guy's destined for similar things. There's a look at the field for the upcoming 10th. And during the break, we saw that feature we did with Ken Middleton, the longtime track announcer here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Prior to that, worked as one of the on-air commentators for a number of years with the Ontario Jockey Club and then Woodbine Entertainment, and more recently has started raising and breeding his own horses, and he's got one of those homebreds that he'll be back out with for a second time here in the 10th, number 8, Bob Blah Blah. Sunshine Beach gelding, brother to She's a Sassy Beach, who's a 3-year-old filly that has had a productive couple of years on the racetrack for Middleton. And Ken co-owns this one with Dave Walls for Sarnia, and James Grant as well in the starting center stables. Sylvain Filion will be in the driver's seat once again. Made a mistake at the start last week, so we'll certainly try and rebound and atone with an improved effort here today. Has the outside post 8 to negotiate in this field as they start to exit our paddock location. La Playa Deo's one of the first one out, Sunshine Beach Colt. Dale Spence will be teaming up with another one here from the Ian Moore barn. He was 6th a week ago, paced in 59-1, so you know they'll want to step up the speed here today. Sunshine Beach Colt from the Western Hanover mare C and B Seen. He'll have post 2. He was a $45,000 fall yearling purchase. So as they make their way out, let's go back upstairs to Mark and get the update from qualifier 9. Okay, we've lost Mark for a brief moment, and we'll get him back on board. He's busy up there multitasking, so we have to try and get him when we can. So we'll check in with Mark in a second as we get a look at them coming out there. 6 Cobra Kai for all you Karate Kid fans. This might be one to have a look at here. Shanghai Phil Colt, who was a almost $20,000 yearling purchase last fall at the London Selected Sale, and a brother to OK Fantastic, career winner of almost $500,000. So we'll look at the last ones coming out. Again, let's go back up to Mark. I believe he's standing by now with that rundown.
I am, Greg. As in that 9th qualifier, we had 3 scratches. 4, 7, and 8 were out. From top to bottom, it was 4, 2, 5, scratch, 1, 3, scratch, a 155 and 3 mile for Shadow Moon Rising, which, again, last week he was 2nd, beat 3/4 of a length at 158. Here today, he is the fastest to this point. Very good effort for connections that have had their fair share of top pacing colts. Ian Moore, RG Group Limited, Serge Savard, and Hudson Standardbred, and they look like they got a nice one here. They had to dish out $115,000 to get him, but Shadow Moon Rising has looked real good now in 2 efforts and stopped the clock today in 55 and 3.
And we'll see an Ian Moore pupil as mentioned in number 2, La Playa Deo. We had a look a moment ago at Chris Christoforou coming onto the track with Twin Bee Raptor, sports writer colt for Wayne McGean, $30,000 yearling purchase. ATS Hanover, we saw him coming out as well with Jody Jameson back in the bike for Dave Maneri, a 6-figure yearling purchase, $125,000 last fall. The Butters Delight gelding finished 3rd a week ago in his debut effort on the oval. He sat the pocket and finished 3rd ultimately with a 28-2 final quarter. So I would say raced evenly. I'm sure the connections are hoping for some improvement here today. The mare Always True has been a good producer. She's produced 4 winners of $100,000 or more, and one of her early offspring, Dynamic Youth, a career winner of $1.2 million. Who are you keeping your eye on in particular here in this one, Mark?
Yeah, here in this field of 8, which, by the way, there are no chances or no changes. I do like looking at the 6, Cobra Kai. 9th foal from the Genesis Beach Boy mare Fanciful, and Fanciful, a sister to a millionaire in Fancy Philly and a winner of over $800,000 Somewhere Fancy. And we talked about the connection that is the McNairs, and we'll see if Cobra Kai in the debut. The Shanghai Phil can maybe make some noise.
Starting gate rolling here for the 10th baby race, 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Phil Houdon will drive number 1, Roll with the Flow. Roll with Joe Colt, owned by Hutt Racing Stable, Middlebrook Racing, and Blake McIntosh. McIntosh, the trainer, a $15,000 yearling buy. 2, La Playa Deo, Sunshine Beach Colt, owned by Dr. Ian Moore, Hudson Standardbred Stable, Conrad Lieber, and Michael Goldberg. Ian Moore trains, Dale Spence drives, $45,000 yearling purchase. 3 is Stonebridge Apollo, a Sunshine Beach Colt, owned by Fred Drouard. He's the trainer. Bob McClure drives. $11,000 yearling buy. 4 is Twinbee Raptor, a sports rider colt owned by Capers 3 Stable, trained by Wayne McGeen, Chris Christoforou, and the Sulky. $30,000 yearling purchase. 5 is Silk Road Smash, a Better's Delight gelding, homebred from Millar Farms, trained by Nick Gallucci, James McDonald at the lines. 6 is Cobra Kai, a Shanghai Phil colt, owned by Kelly Waxman, trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives, $19,000 yearling purchase. 7 is ATS Hanover, a gelded son of Better's Delight, owned by Maneri Guerrero, Steve Heimbecker, Alan Albert, and PBG Stables, trained by Dave Maneri. Jody Jameson will drive, a $125,000 yearling purchase. And the 8 is Bob Loblaw, a gelded son of Sunshine Beach, owned by Ken Middleton, Dave Walls, James Grant, and starting center stables, Ken Middleton trains, Sylvain Filion does the driving. And they're off and pacing here in the 10th baby race. Pretty even beginning overall. To the inside of the gate, Roll with the Flow and La Playa Deo. They show some early speed. Also hustling off the wings was ATS Hanover into 3rd. Getting away 4th, that is Silk Road Smash. Floating away outside mid-pack is Bob Loblaw. Down to the inside, Twinbee Raptor, who's followed by Stonebridge Apollo and Cobra Kai. They're driving into the first turn and put to the front. This is La Playa Deo, and Dale Spence leading it by 2 lengths past the opening quarter in 29-1. Racing in second is ATS Hanover, and then 3rd is Roll with the Flow, followed in 4th by Silk Road Smash. 5th into the backstretch is Twinbee Raptor, then in 6th is Bob Loblaw, followed by Stonebridge Apollo, and Cobra Kai is racing in 8th. Up the backside they go, and it's another Dr. Ian Moore trainee rolling right along on the lead, and La Playa Deo is leading it by a half dozen lengths, and he is rolling to what is going to be a very strong half-mile clocking here as he's passed the half in 57-3. Big advantage of nearly 10 lengths. Back in second, ATS Hanover having a little bit of difficulty out and about the 2 path, and then racing in 3rd, that is Roll with the Flow. 4th is Silk Road Smash. Then racing 5th, Twinbee Raptor, who is being tracked by Bob Loblaw. Stonebridge Apollo and Cobra Kai is your trailer. And after that big opening half, La Playa Deo already being called upon here now at 3/4, 127-3. So that was 30 seconds in the 3rd quarter into the stretch. La Playa Deo wants to close this one out. We'll see if he's left his rivals far behind. They'll still have to do quite a bit of work to try and track him down. Here comes Silk Road Smash on the outside in the center of the track, and that one is closing quickly. ATS Hanover in 3rd, Roll with Flow 4th, and here comes Silk Road Smash coming right on by. Silk Road Smash finishing this one up with good-looking strides to take it by about 3 lengths. 2nd was La Playa Deo. 3rd went to Roll with the Flow. 4th was Twinbee Raptor over Bob Loblaw. Time of the mile, 157-4.
Another winner on the weekend for the combination of Miller Farms, trainer Nick Gallucci, James McDonald, Silk Road Smash, the Better's Delight gelding, closing really alertly in the final quarter, and he's doing it pretty handily, albeit a slowing final quarter of 30-1. He was certainly the livest of the bunch, and the body language suggests that he had another gear if needed. So Silk Road Smash, an impressive debut here. Better's Delight, homebred from the Western Hanover mare Chocolate Truffle. From 6 foals, all 6 have made the races and been pretty productive on the track. Silk Road Smash looks like he is going to follow in those footsteps. La Playa Deo handled more aggressively this week, did the road work, and is able to hold on to 2nd, Roll with the Flow, finishing 3rd in the 157-4 mile in qualifier number 10. Turning over now to the 11th of the day. Another field of 8 scheduled to go postward in here, and one of the horses that we had the spotlight on at the beginning of the day, Tall and Tan Blue Chip, is the number 5. A Better's Delight gelding from the Some Beach Somewhere Dam Warrawee Sunshine. Determination of Montreal, Quebec own. And Luke Blade trains. Bob McClure will do the driving. The first look at this guy coming up today. $100,000 yearling purchase last fall from Harrisburg. The second dam is Great Memories, one of the most prolific pacing broodmares in harness racing. And she has produced the likes of Warrawee Butte, the $1.9 million winner. $1.2 million winner, Warrawee Needy, with a mark of 146-4. And Warrawee Vital, one of the exciting 4-year-old pacers, campaigned locally by conditioner Rob Fellows, and already a winner this year in 147-1. So all kinds of speed and talent and quality in that family. And Tall and Tan Blue Chip going to try and live up to that $100,000 price tag. So we've got the 11th coming up. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Mark will have you updated on that 10th race rundown.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Enjoy the thrill of the race anywhere, anytime with hpibet.com. Join for free and use your smartphone, tablet, or PC to watch and wager when you can't be at the track. Stream live racing from over 450 tracks. Bet with ease from anywhere. It's safe and secure. Get rewards, race alerts, tips, and more. For a limited time, get $100 when you become a member. Plus, 1 month free live race streaming, and your first bet is on us. Go to hpibet.com to join for free today.
And there is the scene. You're watching live coverage of the baby races on COSA-TV from Woodbine Mohawk Park. 14 races in total this morning, and we are coming up to our 11th next. As we watch them make their way out, there's a look at number 7. That's Sports Teller. Mike Saftik will be in the driver's seat this morning for Jean Beliveau, the conditioner, a sports rider gelding. And this is a homebred of Troy Mark of Simcoe. There's 6 Aaronwood Eve, state treasurer from Zara Bayama. $12,000 yearling purchase. Gabriela Sazo trains. Sylvain Filion will drive that colt. There's the aforementioned Tall and Tan Blue Chip hitting the racetrack for driver Bob McClure. Talked about the pedigree on that one. And today we'll get our first look and see what we're dealing with that son of Bettor's Delight. Let's head back up to Mark. He'll update us on that rundown from back in race 10.
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg. Checking out the rundown in the 10th qualifier from top to bottom. It was 3:27, 4:18, 6:5, 1:57 and 4. The time of the mile for the winner, Silk Road Smash. And for Silk Road Smash, 11 lengths off at 3/4. So that would get him there in 1:29 and 4. So it's a 28-second final quarter for Silk Road Smash to take his debut.
There's another look at the final competitors. Getting ready to hit the racetrack, number 3, Century Invictus. Johnny McKinnon and James McDonald going to team up again here. They've had a number of starters here over the first 2 weeks, and looks like the McKinnon barn has a nice bunch getting set for stakes action this season. This one a $67,000 fall yearling purchase, and will be coming back for the second week, 5th by 8 1/4 1 week ago, 27 and 3 on the end, individually timed in 27 and 3. And when you talk about the Ontario breeding program, Mark, a number of high-profile operations that you hear of year in and year out. One that the name that you're seeing more and more is the Century Monica, Century Spring Farms of Gorey, Ontario. They're breeding better and better quality horses year in and year out, more high-profile performers that are grabbing some attention.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Once they start to grab those headlines, that can certainly change the game for a breeding operation. But you talk about too is finding quality mares and just increasing that quality overall, and that's what you've got there as we go into this 11th Century Invictus, sold for $67,000, and this is the first foal out of the McArdle Mare Strike Accord.
58-3 last week. I'm sure the Connections were satisfied with that, but you know, we're getting down to crunch time now, so they're likely going to want to see certainly a step up in time, and likely going to try and have this one even more forwardly spotted today, and see how the horse reacts to that. Good post to work with in this qualifying event. On the far outside of the gate, debuting is number 8 JS Love Them Ladies. Second foal from Leave 'em Lady, who was a good one on the track, a winner of almost $300,000. Guy Gagnon and a company shelled out $45,000 for this one last fall at the Harrisburg sale, son of sports writer. Gagnon certainly dominating at Rideau Carlton, Mark, but the ones he's brought here the last couple of years have been more than competitive as well.
Yeah, they have, and that's something that I'm sure a lot of people see him just cleaning up, winning half a dozen races or so every Sunday, it seems, at Rideau. And then when you come here, it might be a different ball game, but when you come here with quality horses as well, that certainly gives you a little bit of a leg up. And clearly he definitely has some talent as well. There's no doubt about that. Great horseman. So the starting gate's now moving. Time to meet the field for the 11th. There are no changes here. Number 1 signing bonus. Greg McNair, Jim Newton, Bloomingwood Farms, Paul Kidd are the owners. Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair drives. This is a Shadow Play Colt. 2 is Golden Ticket, a gelded son of Sunshine Beach, owned and bred by Stephen Klinowski, trained by Carmen Osceola, Jonathan Drury. 3 is Century Invictus, a gelded son of Better's Delight, owned by The Stable, trained by Johnny McKinnon. James McDonald drives, $67,000 Harris yearling purchase. 4 is War of Will, a Captain Treacherous colt, owned by Hut Racing Stable, Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains, Jody Jameson drives, $75,000 purchase. 5 is Tall and Tan Blue Chip, Better's Delight gelding, owned by Determination, trained by Luke Blay, Bob McClure, and the Sulky, a $100,000 yearling buy. 6 is Aaronwood Eves, a State Treasurer colt, owned by Aaronwood Equine, Jeffrey Korshness, and Mart West Racing Stable, trained by Gabby Sasso. Sylvan Filion, $12,000 yearling purchase. 7 is Sports Teller, Troy Mark and Kimberly Mark, the owners. Jack Beliveau trains, Mike Saftik drives this, sports writer gelding. And 8 is JS Love Them Ladies, Akiri Guy Gagnon, Jean-Louis Letulippe. As the starting gate comes into the stretch, Guy Gagnon trains and drives this $45,000 yearling buy. And they're off and pacing here in the 11th. Pretty even beginning here. A few of them trying to push forward in the opening strides. War of Will in the center. To his outside is JS Love Them Ladies. To the inside, Century Invictus will get away 3rd. From the rail, Signing Bonus will hold ground 4th. Settling in 5th, that is Aaronwood Eves, who will then be followed into the turn by Golden Ticket. Then we race back to Sports Teller, and at the rear of the field, Tall and Tan Blue Chip. The opening quarter was 29-3. Onto the backstretch they'll go. And the leader of this group of 8, this is JS Love Them Ladies and Guy Gagnon, fronting them by a length and a half. War of Will races in the 2-hole. Then in 3rd is Century Invictus. 4th is Signing Bonus. 5th up the backside, Aaronwood Eves, who is tracked by Golden Ticket. A break of 2 lengths to Sports Teller and another 2 lengths back to Tall and Tan Blue Chip. No movement. They're single file coming up to the half off a 29-3 opener. The half was hit in 1 minute and 3/5. Back down there, 31 seconds in the second quarter. And as they enter the far turn, you see them start to ramp it up. JS Love Them Ladies stretched it out to a 2-length advantage. War of Will gets into gear and sits now right back on the leader's back. Staying with him is Century Invictus 3rd. Moving on the outside now up into 4th is Aaronwood Eves. Down at the inside, Signing Bonus. Following that out path is Golden Ticket. Then we go to Sports Teller and the trailer, Tall and Tan Blue Chip. 3/4 time, 1:29-3. 29 second third panel into the stretch. JS Love Them Ladies. War Will dips in behind, now comes back out and looks to surge on by. 1/8 of a mile to go. JS Love Them Ladies. War of Will now fanning out. Century Invictus coming up the inside. Aaronwood Eves. JS Love Them Ladies still leading it by a pair. Aaronwood Eves now looking to split through. JS Love Them Ladies at the edge of the tote board. Aaronwood Eves coming with the push. These two down to the line. JS Love Them Ladies got it over Aaronwood Eves. Time of the mile, 1:58.3.
Guy Gagnon and JS Love Them Ladies, they came ready to compete this morning, outside post and all. The first-time starter goes straight to the front and is able to hold on narrowly for the 158.3 victory. Son of sports writer, nice-sized colt here, a little bit bigger than some of the sports riders you see. Had a nice long gait to him, and showed good tactical speed, of course, and well rated, able to dig in and hold off a late charging Aaronwood Eves, the son of state treasurer. Going to make it very close here as we get another look at the slow-mo shot. Century Invictus had to back off horses and forced maybe a little bit wider than expected, turning for home, but does keep moving forward and will get up for the show spot late in the mile. Here they are coming to the end. And Aaronwood Eve is going to make it interesting on the end, gets right up to the leader as they kick home in 29 seconds to stop the clock at 1:58 3/5. JS Love Them Ladies. And Guy Gagnon, one that I'm sure we will see in action when the Ontario Sire Stakes gets underway here in just a couple of weeks. This $45,000 Harrisburg yearling purchase emerging victorious over Aaronwood Eve and Century Invictus. 3 more left to go on this Saturday morning. Again, you are watching live coverage of the baby races on COSA-TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're on a variety of platforms today, including the Standardbred Canada live streaming on their website, Harness Racing Update, Winback Farm. Also taking the feed, thestable.ca, and of course, COSA-TV, available on our YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much. And again, if you are just joining us, drop us a line and let us know where you are watching in from today. We've had folks commenting from Scotland, from Ireland, down in the U.S. as well. Wonderful to have you on board with us this morning. Hope you are enjoying the coverage. 3 more left to go. Let's take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have a look ahead to qualifier 12.
Dark Horse. Download the app today.
Welcome back. We're live at Woodbine, Mohawk Park. A beautiful Saturday morning. You couldn't order up a better day than what we have. Temperature in the mid-20s and rising, and playing on a fast track. 3 more left to go before we have a look at qualifier number 12. Let's head back upstairs and rejoin Mark McKelvey.
Thank you very much, Greg. Here's the order of finish from the 11th qualifier. Top to bottom, it was 6-5-3, 4-8, 2-7-1. JS Love Them Ladies takes it in 1:58.3. Final quarter was 29 seconds flat. Aaronwood Eves comes up just a nose short. That was the margin of victory here for JS Love Them Ladies, and for Aaronwood Eves, sat 5 off at 3 quarters, so was there in 1:30.3. That's a 28-second final quarter as That one just missed, but a good effort. And nonetheless, you don't get paid in the qualifiers, so we're watching for those that are finishing up well, and Aaron Wood Eves with a good effort. 1:58 and 3 once again that time of the mile.
And hard to know, Mark, how much to read into the times at this stage. I mean, some efforts speak for themselves. You know, sometimes you see one that's just an absolute standout, and you know immediately that's going to be a gold competitor. Other ones are more on the bubble, and it's interesting, isn't it, to try and speculate and get into the minds of some of the connections of these horses to know whether they're going to try grassroots or try the gold level of competition right off the bat. And one thing about the Ontario Sire Stakes program, it is great to have those options. You have that, and now you've got the grassroots as a starting point if you wish and work your way up to the gold, or you can go the other way and try the gold route right off the bat and see where you stack up, and you can quickly drop back down if you feel that your horse needs more seasoning or just maybe isn't quite that level of competition. You've got the Prospect Series as well now as sort of that third tier for horses, so you know, lots of money, and that's why it's such a strong provincial program here, the Ontario Sire Stakes. Reminding you that kicks off Canada Day weekend right here at Mohawk Park. We'll have the first two events on that Thursday evening. More gold action Friday night. The Glamour Boys along with 2-year-old Colt Pacers here on the Saturday night, and Hiawatha Horse Park in Sarnia, Ontario gets underway as well that night with grassroots action for 3-year-old Colt Trotters. But it's more 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pacers here next in qualifier 12. And one more time, let's go back up to Mark McKelvey.
Starting gate now rolling for our 12th qualifier. 5 and 8 are scratched. That leaves us with a field of 6. Number 1 is All a Boil. Gelded Son of Better's Delight, owned by Coyote Wind Farms, trained by Clark Bealby, Robert Shepard to drive. $20,000 yearling buy. 2, Supervise the Moment. Control the Moment Colt, owned by Roland Nobes and David Frey. Frey trains, Travis Cullen drives. 3 is Lions Pride. Better's Delight Colt, owned by 3 Lions Racing. Anthony Beaton trains, Sylvain Filion drives. $30,000 yearling purchase. 4, Up the Creek, a Gelded Son of Better's Delight, Maneri Racing, Michael Guerrero, Alan Albert, and George Harrison are your owners. Dave Maneri trains, Jody Jameson drives, $13,000 yearling purchase. 5 is out, 6 is Noble Intentions, a Gelded Son of Sunshine Beach, Robert Burgess, the owner-breeder, Carmen Ostiello trains, Jonathan Drury in the sulky, and 7 is 24K, a Gelded Son of Sports Writer, owned by Hut Racing Stable and Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains, James McDonald drives, $7,000 yearling purchase. The 8 is scratched. 5 and 8 are out. We're down to a field of 6 for qualifier 12 of 14 on this Saturday from Woodbine Mohawk Park. And they're off and pacing here in the 12th and splitting from the center. That is Up the Creek along with Lions Pride. From the outside, 24K, surveying the situations, forwardly placed. Noble Intentions between rivals at the rail, All a Boil. And then the early trailer is Supervise the Moment. They go into the first turn and they'll be following Up the Creek. Right behind is Lions Pride in second. All a Boil held ground there, third from that rail starting spot. Settling in fourth is Noble Intentions. Then we go to Supervise the Moment, and 24K ends up taking to the back. The opening quarter was 30-4. Not a lot of early speed there, so that's going to get the movement going here. And as they enter the backstretch, Up the Creek ramps it up just as Lions Pride wanted to swing around. Lions Pride now will cross over and clears to command. Up the Creek is in second. Third is All a Boil, followed fourth by Noble Intentions. Fifth is Supervise the Moment, and 24K is your trailer. They're coming up to the midway point and back out, looking to retake the lead is Up the Creek. 102 was the half, so they still weren't going too much there. And as they enter the far turn, Up the Creek leads it for the second time before 5/8 of the mile were complete. Lions Pride put back into second. Here comes Noble Intentions rushing on the outside, now moving up and is only 2 lengths away. Fourth is All a Boil, break a 2 back to Supervise the Moment, and 24K is your trailer. The leader's Up the Creek. Up to that leader's wheel, though, is Noble Intentions as they hit 3/4 in 1:30 and 4. Rookie Pacers come off the turn and into the stretch. At the inside, Up the Creek. Outside, Noble Intentions. In behind is Lions Pride looking for racing room. All a Boil. And then on the outside of that one, Supervise the Moment. 1/8 of a mile remaining. And Up the Creek kicks away here late. Up the Creek leading it by 3. And Up the Creek will take it. Up the Creek coming into deep stretch to win it. Lions Pride was second. Noble Intentions third. Then it was All a Boil. Supervise the Moment. And 24K. 1:58 and 4 for Up the Creek.
Up the Creek, not that big, but she is speedy. And she turns on the after jets, 3rd quarter of 28 and 4, 28 seconds home, and sprints away from her rivals to score the victory in 1:58 and 4. Up the Creek, or he, I should say, is a son of Better's Delight from the Western Ideal mare Skinny Dip. Has had 4 siblings that have earned over $100,000 in their racing careers to this point. So it looks like this one certainly has plenty of talent to kick off his racing career. Just a $13,000 yearling buy. And it looks like Mineri Racing Incorporated, Michael Guerrero, Alan Alber, and George Harrison may have struck a bargain here. Nice to see a horse kick in. That's the way you want to see them finish their mile. And good final quarter speed for Up the Creek to win easily over Lions Pride, another son of Better's Delight. Sunshine Beach gelding Noble Intentions able to hold on for third after making that first over move in the 3rd quarter. So just 2 more races left to come here on this Saturday morning. A busy day at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Of course, live racing back tonight with a typically strong Saturday night program. And it's going to be a beautiful night for racing. Looking forward to that. But looking forward to our final 2 races of the morning before we get to that. We have a field of 8 set to go postward next in this 13th race. So we're going to see Herb Holland and Gino Toscani back, looking for their 3rd winner of the morning. They sent out number 5, 3 Peaks, a Shadow Play colt, just a $9,000 yearling purchase. Next Door Neighbors World for 2. The only one today we see sired by a Rock and Roll Dance from Fit and Fancy, the good producer. Mario Baerjan training and driving. It will be the 2nd qualifier for this one, who was a runner-up a week ago in a 1:59 and 3 mile. They'll be lining up behind the starting gate in just a moment. Let's go back upstairs and rejoin Mark McKelvey.
Thanks, Greg. Here's your order of finish from the 12th. Top to bottom, 4-5-2, 1 scratch, 3-6 scratch. Your winner, Up the Creek, takes it in 1:58 and 4, a final quarter of 28 seconds flat, and takes this one by 3.5 lengths over Lions Pride. Those two, a little bit of a battle there in the 2nd quarter as they played a little game of leapfrog, but ultimately Up the Creek kicks away there late. And as you talked about, a nice performance, well in hand to take it in 1:58 and 4 to win his qualifying debut for the team of Jameson and Mineri.
Here's a look at a flashy individual coming out from the paddock, Google My Chrome, and easy to see why the horse got that name. It's got the big white blaze down the front, a son of Better Than Cheddar. Blake McIntosh training and teams up with driver James McDonald. A $25,000 yearling from the Hoofbid online platform last fall. Number 7 Sharky Bear in the field, also a Hoofbid online purchase of $12,500. Kevin Bodds will train that one. Chris Christopher driving a son of He's Watching, and another that we are going to see for the very first time. Go Go Diggy Schmo. Gotta love the name of that one. This one sired by Huntsville. So you've got some new faces, Mark, on the pacing side this year, but not in the Ontario program. Horses like Fear the Dragon, Huntsville. Any of those that you're hearing really great reports on?
Fear the Dragon. We saw a Fear the Dragon winner yesterday in the Philly qualifiers, and hearing good reports there for a horse that is a past Pepsi North America Cup winner. So obviously here at the home base here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, you like to track those past NA Cup champions. So heard quite a bit about the Fear the Dragons, and then just talking to a few horsemen, you know, they talked about the Huntsvilles, and it seems like they got some speed, which of course wouldn't be a surprise, as we remember him out on the track, a very fast competitor.
Absolutely. And Go-Go Diggy Schmo has some siblings that have done well, is a brother to $300,000 winner Rolling Going Gone. Finished 6th last week in the first trip behind the gate. Was handled quite conservatively, did kick home in 28 and won. And you'll see that with some of these. Some that didn't show a lot first time out can really step up next time. And this is one that I'm going to watch today to see, you know, if there's a lot more to offer that we didn't necessarily see a week ago. We'll find out soon. Starting gate rolling for qualifier 13.
Here is your field. Number 1, Go-Go Diggity Schmo, a Huntsville colt owned by Ross Bonifield, trained by John Pentland. Bob McClure drives. 2 is Yarm, Better's Delight colt owned by Scott Horner, Tim Murray, Clay Horner. Greg McNair, the trainer. Doug McNair, the driver. $40,000 yearling purchase. 3 is Getting to It, a Sports Writer colt. Daniel Plouffe, Blake McIntosh, Jean-Christopher Plouffe, and Michael Lindley are your owners. Blake McIntosh trains, Jody Jameson drives. $47,000 yearling buy. 4, Google My Chrome, a Better Than Cheddar colt owned by Princeton Farms, trained by Blake McIntosh. James McDonald will drive. $25,000 yearling purchase. 5 is 3 Peaks, a Shadow Play colt owned and driven by Gino Toscani, trained by Herb Holland, a $9,000 yearling buy. 6 is World for 2, gelded son of a rock and roll dance owned by the stable, trainer drivers Mario Bayarjan, $16,000 yearling purchase. 7 is Sharky Bear, Kevin Bodds, the owner, trainer, breeder. Chris Christopher in the sulky behind the He's Watching colt, $12,500 yearling purchase. And the 8 Sports Section, a Sports Writer colt owned by Dale Kerr, trained by Jared Bako. Louis Waugh will drive. $42,000 yearling purchase. Starting gate picking up speed, and here they come for the 13th. They're off and pacing here in the 13th. And hustling out of there goes World for 2 for Bayarjan. 3 Peaks to his inside is crossing over and getting to it as well. From the outside, Sports Section will be looking for a spot in mid-pack, likely right in front of Go-Go Diggity Schmo, who gets away in 5th. Yarm will settle in behind 6th. Then we go to Google My Chrome, and your trailer is Sharky Bear around the first turn, and they're following World for 2. Won't be too hot of an opening quarter here. 30 seconds flat, so very even, as a 30-second opener will allow World for 2 to front them by a pair of lengths, swinging into the backstretch. 3 Peaks is in second, Getting to It is racing third. 4th is Sports Section. We go 2 lengths back to Go-Go Diggity Schmo, who is followed 6th by Yarm. 7th up the backside, Google My Chrome, and your trailer is Sharky Bear. Single file nearing the midway point, and the leader is World for 2. Second qualifier for this gelded son of a rock and roll dance. Second last week, but paced home in 27 seconds flat. Was clocked going his mile in 2 minutes. Here this morning, he leads him past the half in 1:01 and 4, so he'll be looking to flash some final half speed as he drives into the far turn, the leader by a length and a half. 3 Peaks is racing second. Getting to it is 3 lengths from the front in third. 4th is Sports Section. 5th is Go-Go Diggity Schmo. Bit of a gap developing back to Yarm there. 6th. 7th is Google My Chrome, and the trailer 8th is Sharky Bear. Nobody off the wood just yet as they go by 3 quarters in 1:31 and 3. Spinning for home off a 29 and 4 third quarter. It is World for 2, looking to be number 1 at the line, leading it by about 4 lengths and trying to drive away. Now up into second is Getting to It. Sports Section on the outside, looking to overtake 3 Peaks for third, and Go-Go Diggity Schmo. And in deep stretch, it is all World for 2. Gonna go coast to coast like butter on toast, it'll be World for Two to take it. Finishing second was Getting to It. Third was Sports Section. And fourth was Go Go Diggity Schmo. 158-4, 27-1 home for World for Two.
Thank you, Gary Guy. I mean, Mark McKelvey. Coast to coast like butter on toast. Well played. It was World for Two. Just simply out-kicking rivals with that big final quarter. And there's a look at this son of a rock and roll dance from the Life Sign mare Fit and Fancy. And I think Connections would really like what they saw here with a 2-year-old, that ability to really back them down and kind of go as slow as you want in the middle half if able to, and then pick it up and sprint home. He's kind of a big colt. He looks like the type that might take a while to get into gear, but he hit sprinting mode pretty quickly, and the rest could not keep up on this occasion. It was a long ways back to the runner-up Getting Into It, a son of sports writer for Blake McIntosh, Jody Jamieson, sports writer Colt Sports Section. Trained by Jared Bako, driven by Doug McNair this morning, is the one that rounds out your top three. World for Two has now had 2 qualifiers, steps up his overall time, and is a winner this morning for the stable World for Two of Guelph. And again, Super Mario Bayerjean doing both the training and the driving of this guy. Looks like he's got a bright future in front of him. Just one more to go. We've come to the end of this Saturday morning marathon. We hope you've enjoyed the live coverage here on COSA-TV. We have a full field of 8 scheduled to assemble for the finale today here in the 14th. Let's take one more commercial break and be back to set it up for you in just a moment.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
And welcome back as we get set for the finale. We'll see some starters here sent out by Barnes that have already had winners this morning, including Ian Moore, Nick Gallucci, Herb Holland had a pair of winners earlier on the day. Gino Toscani will be in the driver's seat aboard number 8, Full Disclosure. Son of Sweet Lou from Hilarious. Hilarious has had a number of foals. She's been a tremendous producer over a long career. Has produced 5 winners of more than 100,000. She's a Die Laughing mare, and this Son of Sweet Lou was a $32,000 yearling purchase last fall by Toscani, again, who has Herb Holland doing the training for him now this year, and it will be interesting to see how that combination does. They've got a number of youngsters that we have seen over this first 2 weeks of action. I'm looking forward to seeing them, of course, when they make their pari-mutuel debuts. Closer to the inside, Century Inspector will be coming off a winning effort a week ago. He's watching Colt, who was one of the more impressive, frankly, last Saturday, winning in 59-3. It was the 26-4 final quarter, Mark McKelvey, that really turned heads, doing it from a post-7 start.
Yeah, you're right about that. That would definitely is going to catch the attention of many. And that's what we're looking for, trying to find those ones that really snap home. As we'll get you the rundown in just a moment from the 13th.
All right, and Ian Moore's trying to catch lightning in a bottle again with another son of He's Watching. Tattoo Artist really has been an incredible performer for that operation over the past couple of seasons. Last year at age 3, he simply, I think, overachieved based on what people thought he would do coming into the year, and he was able to maintain it over the course of a long, tough season, racing against the best in North America, and he's looked good coming back so far at age 4. His stablemate Century Pharaoh looks like he's coming back good as well for the Moore camp, but he's got a bunch of nice 2-year-olds, and this guy certainly looks like he is one of them that's going to be a player somewhere on the stakes trail this summer here in Ontario. Let's go back up to Mark just before the 14th goes to get us updated on that 13th rundown.
Yeah, here is the rundown from the 13th, top to bottom. 472, 65, 183. World for 2, a 158-4 winner for the stable, and trainer driver Mario Bayarjan, 27 and 1 home, wins it by 6 3/4 lengths, and as I said, goes coast to coast. Thought you guys might like that line. I know it cracked a few smiles up here in the press box. You know, Greg, I guess with all your experience as a race caller, qualifiers, there's a whole lot of action at times, so you got to find a way to keep it entertaining, don't you?
That's a good point. You're right. So yeah, they often are. Just what we saw there. They line up quickly, not much in the middle half, and then a sprint home, because I think most people have the same idea. They want to see their horse finish up strong. That's the most important part of the race, obviously, that final quarter. And what you don't like to see that early in the game is your horse on the lead and then faltering in the late stages. So yeah, it leads to having to be creative, and that's why Mark gets paid the big bucks. And we'll listen to him one more time today. The gate looks like it's rolling, Mark, for the 14th and final.
Don't get your hopes up too high here for anything special. All right, they're moving behind the gate. We're going to scratch number 5, latest attraction here from the 14th and final baby race on this Saturday here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Once again, thanks for joining us. Down to a field of 7. Number 1, Michelob Ultra, Always Be Mickey Colt, owned by Carl Jamieson, Tom Chiron, and George Harrison. Carl Jamieson trains, Jody Jamieson drives, a $12,000 yearling buy. 2, Century Inspector, He's Watching Colt, owned by Dr. Ian Moore. Leonard Rosine, trained by Moore. Tyler Moore will drive. 3 is Azure Beach, Sunshine Beach Colt, owned by Patrick Dillon. Rob Fellows trains, Louis Waugh drives. The 4 is Pearl Snaps, a gelded son of Fear the Dragon, owned by Steve Heimbecker, trained by Blake McIntosh. Doug McNair drives, a $125,000 yearling purchase. 5 is out. 6 is Better Have My Money, a better than Cheddar Colt, homebred from Alar Farms, trained by Nick Gallucci. James McDonald steers. 7 is Lions Lou, a Sweet Lou Colt, owned by 3 Lions Racing, trained by Anthony Beaton. Sylvan Filion drives, a $25,000 yearling buy. And completing the field, full disclosure, he is number 8. He's the son of Sweet Lou, owned and driven by Gino Toscani, trained by Herb Holland, $32,000 yearling purchase. Time to put a bow on this Saturday baby race session from Woodbine Mohawk Park. It's a field of 7 for our 14th and final 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings swing into the stretch. And they're off and pacing, and in the finale, full disclosure. And Gino Toscani, they go to the front. It'll be full disclosure out of there, so too Pearl Snaps. Century Inspector gets away in 3rd, and Michelob Ultra is 4th. 5th is Lions Lou, followed by Better Have My Money, and the trailer is Azure Beach. McNair is going to the top with Pearl Snaps, and Pearl Snaps will overtake the lead from cutting the corner. Full disclosure, who was inside a couple pylons there. On the outside as well as Century Inspector. The opening quarter was 28 and 3. Onto the backstretch, the rookie pacers will go, and it's Century Inspector on the outside. Pearl Snaps at the inside, and these two go toe-to-toe for a little bit, and they are matching strides past 3/8 and getting away from everyone else. So Pearl Snaps and Doug McNair, they want to control it, and that's going to put Century Inspector to have to take back and settle in behind 2nd. Then it is well back to full disclosure 3rd. Michelob Ultra is 4th. The half, 56 and 2. They just went a 27 and 4 second quarter there. So on to the far turn here in the finale. Pearl Snaps by a pair. Century Inspector 2nd. Then it's another area code. Back to full disclosure 3rd. Michelob Ultra is in 4th. Followed then by Lions Lou in 5th. 6th is Better Have My Money. And your trailer is Azure Beach. On to 3/4. Pearl Snaps is going to race past that marker, leading by a length and a half, 125 flat. Off the turn and into the stretch. Pearl Snaps, Century Inspector. Let's see what these two have for the stretch drive. Now moving up into 3rd, Michelob Ultra, racing in 4th. That is full disclosure. Back 5th. going to Lions Lou, followed by Better Have My Money and Azure Beach. 16th to go. Pearl Snaps trying to fend off Century Inspector. Got to the wheel, won't get any closer. It'll be Pearl Snaps to take it, and we'll stop the clock in 1:54 flat. Second goes to Century Inspector. 1:54 for Pearl Snaps in the finale.
All right, Mark McKelvey, if we're going to use Gary Guy, we should use Vance Cameron as well. There was a bit of a brouhaha on the way to the half in that one, and it's funny, we were just talking about kind of the lack of action in these qualifiers, and then we saw a little bit of a speed tussle and a big second quarter in that final qualifier between the 1-2 finishers, Pearl Snaps and Century Inspector. So Connections obviously both feeling these guys are ready to rock a little bit and do some racing, and they certainly did that here. Both looked a little bit headstrong leaving the gate. They both were anxious and they want to do their work, so that could have been a part of what happened there as well. But end result, by far the fastest winning effort we've seen here in the first 2 weeks. 1:54 for this son of Fear the Dragon, the former Pepsi North America Cup champion. Century Inspector does finish a pretty good second in there in that 1:54 mile. So good 29-second final quarter speed on the end. So yeah, a great way to end the action here today. We've had a little bit of everything as expected, and I'm not sure if we've really stamped anyone as a clear standout from what we've seen last weekend and this weekend so far. So that's good news, because I think we're going to have some wide open divisions from what we have seen so far. But a lot of impressive efforts here this morning, and we want to thank you once again for taking some time out of your day to join us. It's been a long morning, but a really entertaining one here from Woodbine Mohawk Park, and we'll bring Mark back in here in a moment when we have a chance. Let's take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up from the baby races here at Mohawk.
By now, you know the name COSA-TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.
And welcome back. Greg Blanchard joined once again by Mark McKelvey. And Mark, how ironic, we were talking before the race about the lack of action, and there we go. That was pretty entertaining to watch.
Sure was. I mean, didn't have that one absolutely pegged before, and I thought there was some good quality in that final qualifier when the sheet came out, so was expecting probably to be a good mile there. But hey, sometimes it just takes a little tussle. We get to find out what some of these 2-year-olds are made of, and I think while maybe both connections maybe didn't draw it up like that, I think they have to still like what they've seen from both of their colts, because neither of them really gave an inch there, so to speak. And even in the stretch, you know, Tyler Moore took his shot coming back out, and he ends up coming up 2 lengths short, but ultimately, I mean, he battled in there, and that's a big mile. 54 flat for the winner, 54 and 2 for the runner-up here on June 19th. I think that shows these two are ready to go.
Absolutely. We talked off the top about horses to watch, high-profile horses based on their pedigree and their yearling price from last fall and expectations coming in. I don't think any of the ones that we spotlighted really jumped out and looked particularly good this morning, but there are 3 or 4 that I'll keep an eye on that I think we'll see big improvement from next week, assuming that based on what we saw, they will be back in to go at least one more time.
Yeah, you would expect so. You know, you've highlighted when the OSS season will get underway. We've still got a little bit of time here. I would expect we're probably going to be looking at likely about the same numbers of 2-year-olds that we saw this weekend, likely next weekend. And with that, that just means we'll get another better look at some of these rookies. And if there's, you know, one thing we know, Greg, it's that next week, I think it might be kind of time to really see what some of these horses are made of. You know, there's a little less of this walking 32 in the second quarter, but maybe really keeping them rocking and seeing what they've got, because everybody likes to have an idea before they get them under the lights of what they got, and sometimes people overrate them, sometimes they underrate them, but ultimately you can get a good tell just by watching them out here on a morning like today.
And who knows, for all of the Montreal fans we've had watching today, this time next week we could be talking about them playing in the Stanley Cup final. It's going to be an interesting week.
No way, Greg. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either, I have to admit. So, thanks, Mark. A lot of fun, as always. We'll let you go. He's got a busy day ahead of him, and we'll see Mark again back here next weekend as well. Want to remind you, we're back in action here with live racing tonight, and the Ontario Sire Stakes is just around the corner. So before we wrap up, we'll bring up that schedule again and have a look at that, some of the upcoming events, and we'll give you a look at the upcoming shows here on COSA-TV as well, including the baby races. We'll be back next Friday and Saturday morning. We're looking forward to that continuing coverage. And then we look ahead to some of the live events we'll be covering throughout the province this summer. Some of the big races to keep an eye out for over the next couple of months include the Kin Pace, the Dream of Glory from Hanover. We'll be at Grand River, Georgian Downs, and of course here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, as a lot of their major stakes will be later in the season, August through into September and October, because of some of the rejigging of their stakes program this season. So that's what's coming up on COSA-TV. And of course, the Ontario Sire Stakes season kicking off here on Canada Day weekend, July 1st on the Thursday this year. We'll have a pair of gold events hosted at Mohawk Park that night, followed by 2-year-old filly Pacers on Friday and Saturday, with both the Glamour Boys and rookie Colt Pacers. Hiawatha Horse Park at Sarnia will play host to grassroots action for 3-year-old Colt Trotters. Thank you again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time, next weekend, as we're back with more baby race coverage on COSA-TV.
TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA-TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out HPIBet.com. COSA-TV, taking Ontario racing global.